That's as impressive as it gets. Baylor advances to the championship game.
Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
Wagler, goodness, all nylon. Woo!
Our coverage of the NCAA tourney in Indianapolis is brought to you by IdealMRI.com, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Marco's Pizza, U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, American Bank, Willis Law Firm, Chapman's Bail Bonds, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, First National Bank of Central Texas, The Nichi Group, and Pickup Outfitters.
Here's Butler getting it easily, and the basket counts.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Mitchell, it rattles out. Tap back, it goes to Meyer. It came in and out of the hands of Gorham.
Have you downloaded the SicEm365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play.
Toussaint. Again with the ball in his hands, in the paint, floater, short, got it back, ties it with 3. Gonzaga has time to do something. Suggs for the win. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! The perfect season remains on go.
Now we go live to coverage of the NCAA men's tournament in Indianapolis. Here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go. SicEm365 Radio until 6 o'clock. And then, of course, Baylor and Gonzaga for the national championship with an 8:20 Central tip. Here in Indianapolis, 9:20 Eastern. Craig, Paul, Catalina, Armstrong, Sims, all in studio after Baylor has secured their spot tonight to play for their first ever men's basketball national championship. They were playing in this game in 1948. Of course, we know the history of 1948 through 1950. Also, we will have post-game coverage following Baylor Gonzaga tonight. As soon as that game is over, more on that as we go through the day today. We will hear from Davion Mitchell, Mark Few, Scott Drew, Jay Bilas, Seth Greenberg, John Gallagher, the Lucky Charm. He's back. Also, Michael Williams, former Baylor Garden star Jeremy Wariner, on how he helped Baylor recruiting in basketball, Evan Miyakawa, Chad Morris, Didi Richards, Tristan Clark, Jason King, and the possibility of a Heisman Trophy winner who might join us at one point. Guys, we are here. This seems like it has taken forever to get here, but tonight, Baylor on display and a chance to win a national title. Are you pumped? Your thoughts, and also the great, great win and performance on Saturday.
It has taken forever to get here. It's been 2 years for this. I mean, it's been 2 years. That's why it feels like forever. It's legitimately been 2 years since we've seen a Final Four. So 2 full basketball seasons have come and gone with one championship now being played tonight. And, yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a great game tonight. The UCLA Gonzaga game was one of the most fun times I've ever had watching a game by myself in the house. Baylor was dominant on Saturday as you could possibly be. They had almost nothing wrong with the way they played that game. And, you know, Gonzaga finally looked a little bit vulnerable right before the championship game. That's either good news for Baylor or really bad news for Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Obviously, they're playing for a national title tonight. So if you're not excited, I think you need to probably look in the mirror and check your pulse or do something. So long as you have some Baylor ties, you can't help but be excited. But I didn't have much hesitation in saying that I thought Baylor was going to win against Houston. I think we all felt that way, but none of us obviously saw that coming, the fashion in which they just dismantled Houston pretty much from the get-go. I mean, it was Baylor versus one guy, and then after that it was just Baylor naming their score, basically. Incredibly impressive, as good of a script as you could have written as far as just, hey, what would you like to see? How about a stress-free basketball game where everybody contributes, including a walk-on hitting a big in-your-face bucket at the end of the game? I mean, guys dunking, guys jumping all over the bench. I mean, you couldn't have had it any other way. And then you got the complete opposite and the best possible script ending you could have as far as a nail-biter with Gonzaga. And I don't know about you guys. I was kind of torn. I was like, do I want UCLA to win this game? Because in theory it gives Baylor a better chance to win a title, or do I want to see them have to beat Gonzaga? And I don't think whoever they would have played, I mean, you win against either one of them, you're national champs. There's no asterisk. There's no nothing. You won the tournament. I don't care what anybody says. But there is that thought, I think, in a lot of people's minds of you want to beat the best. And tonight they'll play, quote-unquote, the best. And Gonzaga will play the quote-unquote best compared to them. So it's what everybody wanted, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are since that day. We were both, all three of us, we were in Italy, Texas for a high school playoff game when Gonzaga Baylor was shut down that morning, and was like, man, I mean, we were trying to find out how can we watch the game while we tried to do a broadcast. It's here. It's been, as Craig, Paul, you mentioned, 2 years in the making. And if Baylor can put together, if they can somehow do what they did or play how they played Saturday, which is against a different team in Gonzaga, they will be in it, you would think, until the very end and possibly come home with a national title.
You know, for these two teams, they were both really good last year. I think both of them would have probably been Elite Eight teams last year. Maybe Final Four, I don't know. I don't think either one would have won it. I think Kansas was going to win it last year, which is why I kind of feel it's hard to feel bad for Kansas fans when they've had so many good years. But like that last year, they were kind of loaded for bear, and they were playing great at the end of the year. So I kind of thought Kansas was going to win it. But this year, it's been clear that one of these two teams is probably going to win this thing, and it wound up exactly that way.
Yeah, it was just I remember us not complaining, but comparing kind of the way the polls were and all that. And what was it? Illinois jumped up there 1 week. And if not for that, it would be the 1-2 the entire season. The entire season. What is it? I'm sure you guys have seen that stat that each of these teams were at least number 1 or number 2 for like every week but 2 weeks during the course of the season. And obviously Baylor was the only one that dropped when they went down to 3 for a little bit. But they were quickly back to 2. So, yeah, I mean, these are the two teams. This is the beginning of the year. Everybody said we want to see Baylor Gonzaga. We can't wait to see Baylor Gonzaga in the regular season. And then it was, oh, gosh, I can't believe this game was canceled. We have to see this game. We have to see this game in the tournament. And it's the final game of the tournament. It's Baylor Gonzaga. I mean, college basketball could not have crossed their fingers and wished any harder, and here they are. The wish came true for college basketball, because I think there's going to be a lot of people attentive to tonight's game, even though it's not two big-name programs. It's two programs that have a lot of NBA guys and have obviously been very impressive throughout this run. So, I think the whole country's excited about what they're going to see tonight.
We will do, and I don't care if Twitter does what they want to do, stick your head in a tank of gasoline and light it with a match. We have got to go from start to finish, full throttle. Jay Bilas will join us, and then Seth Greenberg will join us. Then John Gallagher will join us. That's just in the first hour. Here's some breaking news in the NFL. Sam Darnold has been traded to Carolina for a 6th-round pick this year and a 4th and 2nd-round pick in 2022. Matt Rule at least looks as if he's building his quarterback position, even with the fact whatever they might do in the draft. So that's one note there.
Well,
Hubert Davis is going to be named, according to the paper out of Charlotte, North Carolina, the new basketball coach replacing Roy Williams. Of course, he played there, has been an assistant there the last almost decade.
Yeah, I was going to say the Panthers were, seemingly to be thought to be into the Deshaun Watson race. When he made it known that he wanted to be traded, they were thought to be, good candidates. But given everything we've seen over the last few weeks, maybe they're either seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, pivoting and saying, we got to get somebody. So Sam Darnold, okay, we'll see what happens.
On the text line today from Daniel, yesterday my wife and I were in College Station picking up a few things. I was wearing my Baylor gear. It was nice to hear a bunch of Aggies saying that they were rooting for Baylor to win. Now I'm finding it really hard to concentrate on work, ready for 8:20 to get here. And from Scotty B, my keys are needing to play at their pace on offense and limit mistakes for Baylor. Of course, defensively, limit threes, force turnovers, need to cause foul trouble on Gonzaga while not having a lot of foul trouble on our end. That's from Scotty.
I have a good advice for Daniel. Stop working. You're not really...
It's overrated.
Look, are you operating like a button like in Lost that's going to keep the world from blowing up? Probably not. I don't know what your job is. Are you performing surgery right now, Daniel? If you are, please finish the surgery. But other than that, I think everything can wait. What 2020 taught us is that most of the things that, you know, your angry boss comes to you in a huff and it's like, you got to do this right now. Do I? I mean, it can wait.
All right, here's from FirmBear24. I was having enough trouble focusing today. I'm just going to give up and give in to what should be a national holiday anyways. There are a lot of fans from Gonzaga and Baylor. I thought Baylor was represented great on Saturday. I really thought that everyone came in droves, and it was a great showing from them. Houston had a ton of people. Gonzaga, UCLA. UCLA was here big time as well. And up and down the streets today, either earlier today or even around lunch, you could see the colors of Baylor and also Gonzaga. A bunch of people are here. The Oregon women's basketball coach, his son plays on Gonzaga, doesn't play a lot. I saw him. He's here. They have a 6'8" son that's no longer playing basketball, but he's a big dude. I didn't realize how big he was. That's, of course, who the Baylor women beat 2 years ago in the semifinals when they had Ionescu on that team. Now, Davion Mitchell has taken his game to a level. Baylor has as well. This did not happened just overnight when Davion Mitchell transferred in from Auburn, along with, of course, the arrivals of what they have with Butler and Teague and others, and now Flagler joins the fray. But here's Davion Mitchell about how and where he was and how he got to the elite level he is now. Davion, thanks for your time. This all didn't happen overnight. This is a lot of hard work from back when you arrived at Baylor. When did you feel like you became like an elite player? Not that you've ever said you were, but when did it all change for you, in your opinion?
I think the beginning of the season. I mean, that quarantine actually helped me out a lot. I mean, it's bad that we had quarantine, and I'm sorry for all the people that went through it. But for me, I think I took it as I got better. I mean, even though we didn't get to have the gym anytime, I mean, I still got better in my game. I watched a lot of film, and I mean, I just got a lot of rest also. And I just feel like coming into the season, I think I knew I was going to do better than last year. I mean, I knew I had to show that I can shoot the ball just as good as anyone, and I think I did a really good job of that. And then I just know this year we had to play a little bit faster because we had last year we didn't play as fast as we did this year. We had a lot of guys that can score the ball, so I think I'm doing a good job of making us play faster, pushing the pace every game, and yeah.
So that's Davion Mitchell, and of course he has been as good as anybody in this tournament. Obviously Gonzaga has their stars with Timmy and Kispert, and obviously with Jalen Suggs in the shot that beat UCLA. That was remarkable, in the block earlier at a big time in that game. There's been a lot of guys who have been stars in this tournament, but no question that Davion Mitchell has been at the very top of that. Think about what this means. I saw the video that Baylor Athletics posted when Scott Drew was introduced, not the entire introduction, but there's about a 1-20 clip about what he was saying back when he arrived. And I bet there was probably 99.9% of anyone who was there or listening didn't believe him. But he did. And here we are 18 years later with Baylor, just 5 hours or so away from tipping off for a national championship. We are loaded up in this show today. Paul, Catalina, Craig Smoak in studio. And we're now joined by Jay Bilas, one of the great analysts in college basketball, and thrilled to have him on a second time. Jay, have you seen a national championship game with this kind of anticipation in a while?
Well, there've been a lot with this kind of anticipation. We just never had one where we've had this, these two records coming into the game. I mean, these were the teams everybody said they wanted to see throughout the year as the two best teams, and they've sort of validated that, I guess, by getting here. But look, we've never had an undefeated team going against a team like Baylor that's only had a couple of losses, and even those losses you can point to COVID more so than Baylor or getting outplayed or anything like that. So, I mean, we could very well have two undefeated teams here. I wouldn't have been shocked if we saw that.
Jay, what did Saturday tell you about where Baylor is and where Gonzaga is heading into tonight?
They're both in the same spot. They're both. There's only, in my view, there's only one team that could beat the other, and they're looking at them across the court. That's it. These are the two best teams, and I thought Baylor would beat Houston, and they beat them by halftime, and I thought that Gonzaga. I thought it would take a perfect game for UCLA to beat Gonzaga, and they almost played it. They did almost play perfect. It's like a Villanova 85 type game. And I know, Mick Cronin would disagree with that. He'd say, hey, we're just as good. I don't see it that way, but they are very good, but they're not as good as Gonzaga. So it'll be fun. I mean, it's two very different teams, but both have NBA players and playmakers, and it'll be really fun to watch.
Obviously, we got provided with a big-time March moment, one that we'll see, forever and ever with the Gonzaga finish. Just what were your thoughts as, that game kept going and going, and UCLA just would not go away, and then obviously the incredible finish?
Yeah, I was actually calling the game for ESPN International. So, CBS has the U.S. feed, and our feed goes to the rest of the world. So I'm looking forward to picking up my Emmy in Latvia. But honestly, I was thinking as we got toward the end of the game, I was impressed how UCLA played. And I was thinking, my goodness, they could have a chance to win this. And then toward the end of the game, I was thinking more about, this reminds me a lot of Duke, Kentucky in 1992. I was a grad assistant on that Duke staff. And that was not just a great finish. It was a great game the whole way through. And that's what UCLA Gonzaga was. It was a great game the whole way through. But, it wasn't, one team making a mistake or anything. It was about two teams, just making high level play after high level play. And I expect a lot of the same in this one, where, both teams can really score. And so while I think great offense can beat great defense, and we'll see. I mean, it'll be fun to watch. There are going to be some really good matchups in the game.
Does Davion Mitchell, have you ever seen someone increase their value or also the identity of who they are in a tournament the way he's done? I know Danny Manning had his great run and others have as well, but your thoughts about what he's done in March?
Well, there have been lots of guys that have increased their value through the tournament. That happens every year, seemingly. But for those that have watched Davion throughout the course of his career, and then certainly the course of this year, shouldn't be surprised by anything they see. It's kind of like the Jalen Suggs when he blocked that shot by Cody Riley in the UCLA game, chased it down, and then, through this cross-court pass, because of the stage, I get it, how we all jumped up and down about it. But he's done that stuff all year. I mean, I'm actually going to show it on game day. I mean, he's had multiple plays like that this year. And for people who were watching the Baylor Villanova game in the second half are going, my God, Davion Mitchell's really good at defense. Well, duh. I mean, he's the National Defensive Player of the Year. So, look, I don't blame the people who aren't watching for jumping on the bandwagon. That's great. But he's been doing this the whole year. That's who he is. And that's sort of the beautiful part about it is it's not going to be a surprise to the people who've been paying attention because he's the real thing. But that's true of all the players in this game. There are a bunch of guys that can have 25-point games. Baylor's probably got as many players that have put up 20 or more as anyone. And the only other team that could, match that would be Gonzaga, I would guess.
Jay, with Davion Mitchell, I know that they're going to switch off and all those things, but is there a particular player that you feel that they will put him on to shut down? Because, like you said, Gonzaga has a ton of guys that can score 20 points.
Yeah, Suggs, I would think, it'd be the guy I would put him on and then make somebody else bring it up the floor, and they've got multiple handlers. But yeah, I think with with Davion's speed, athleticism, strength, and the leverage that he has, and look, Jalen Suggs is a tough dude now. He was a great football player, and he doesn't back off anybody. But to have those two guys, they're the two best athletes. I think they're the two best defenders on the floor. And having them go head to head, you won't. I think your point is exactly right. Like, you won't see anyone guard the same player the whole game because both these teams switch, and so you'll have different matchups. I do think whenever they get a switch with whenever Baylor gets a switch with Drew Timme, they got to take that on right away and just attack him and see if they can hang a couple fouls on him.
Jay, I've been reading a lot of different previews for this game. Obviously, Baylor cruised, and the starters weren't even in by the end, and Gonzaga had to put forth maximum effort. Do you buy into the letdown from the emotions, or does it really matter how each team got to this game?
I'll tell you what I believe. It doesn't matter. I played on a team that lost in the national championship game, and we were the best team. We had the best record. We set a record for most wins in a single season. And after we had a hellacious semifinal against Kansas, so it was number 1 versus number 2, and it came down to the last play. and Louisville had a cakewalk. They just skated through. And after we lost to Louisville by a bucket, and after the game, the narrative was, well, Duke was worn out from the semifinal game. They didn't have their legs and all these things. And I was like, man, we've played in a bunch of games where we were tired. We played 3 games in 3 days in the ACC tournament and won. Nobody said we were tired. You're only tired. That stuff only happens when you lose. That guy gets brought up when they lose. Tell me the last time we talked about a winning team being tired.
You're right. Yeah.
They don't do it. They don't do it. Those are, and that would go in the category of excuses. Now, if they win, people will say, some will say, not people, but some will say, well, iron sharpens iron, and Gonzaga had the tougher semifinal game, and they were loaded for bear. That kind of, none of that means anything because it doesn't matter. Both coaches said, I wish we had more time to prepare. Don't get that. It doesn't work that way. Like everybody that's ever played in the title game got the same amount of time to prepare as you. And that's the way it goes. And I know what they're saying, that they're playing a difficult opponent and all that stuff. But I've always thought that was funny that I've never heard anybody talk about momentum or all these other stuff or being tired after a team wins. It's only when they lose.
Jay, this is the first time we've had a tournament final, obviously, after none last year. Has this tournament been about as good as it could possibly be, considering there was none last year?
Well, I don't know how to answer that because we've never had a time where we didn't have a tournament that had one. So there's nothing to compare it to. I'm not a big believer, honestly, in having to have a catastrophe to have things in perspective. Like when, we've all had deaths in our family and it didn't make me, appreciate my life more. I appreciated it plenty before that. And same thing with the pandemic. I think you look for the positives. It's been a great tournament. It has been unusual. It has not been anything normal. It certainly hasn't been as pleasant an experience for the players and for the coaches being stuck in one place and not being able to leave the hotel. Everybody's made the best of it, but it's certainly not, I get the it's better than nothing thing, but it's been more hardship than anything. And I'm just, I'm happy for everybody that these players and coaches have had an opportunity to compete and they've reached this point. And you just hope they have a good finish and the referees don't get in the way, that we have a good finish to the season. And it's a great capper to have the 2 best teams play for it all. I just wish they could play a 7-game series.
Jay, I know I saw your tweets as well. You know Hubert Davis really well. You guys worked together at ESPN and some great SportsCenter and commercials and ESPN commercials that were fantastic. Your thoughts on him taking over for Roy Williams and that transition and how it'll go?
Well, it's a great call by Carolina, and Hubert's as good a person and as good a basketball man as I've ever known. I know he'll do a great job. He's the type of person that you would like your son to be around and to learn from every day, not just the basketball part, but the rest of it part as well. So I'm thrilled for Hubert. I think it's the absolute right thing for North Carolina. And I'm looking forward to sort of watching him. I just hope he lets me into practice. He knows me, so he might want to keep me out.
Hey, Jay, while we have you, your thoughts on Porter Moser to Oklahoma, Chris Beard to Texas, the Big 12? I mean, obviously have a team in the championship game tonight, but it looks like it's going to be even tougher moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, those are great hires. And, it's while we're talking about the transfer portal, the coach portal is open, baby.
Yeah,
but it's look, Porter's done a great job at Loyola. That's the way the world is. When you do well like that, you have more money, more opportunity that comes calling. And he's taken over for a legend in Lon Kruger. And Chris went to Texas. I mean, he's got orange blood. So, look, I think it's terrific, and I know it stinks for the programs that are losing the coaches that they had, but this is the way it's always been. Anytime there's been an opening, but I will tell you this: when everybody starts complaining about the transfer portal and all that stuff, just think about these coaches were all under contract, all of them, and got calls from fellow competitors knowing they were under contract. And in the world I come from, that's called tortious interference with contracts, but it's just normal business the way it works in college sports.
Jay, one thing and final thing, and thank you for the time you spent with us during the season. Baylor is playing at a very high level. What must they make sure they do tonight to have a chance to win?
Make your shots, because Gonzaga's not going to stop scoring. You're going to have to score with Gonzaga. And defense is important, but defense isn't going to win the game. It'll put you in a position to win it, but you got to score to win this game.
Thank you very much, Jay. Great stuff. Appreciate your time. Jay Bilas, ESPN College Game Day basketball analyst with us on SicEm365 Radio, and his time with us a couple of different times this year. When we come back from what he says, College Game Day, to Seth Greenberg, ESPN College Game Day, and then John Gallagher, the head coach at Hartford. He has been with us since the tournament, even before the tournament started, and every week since then. He'll join us as well. We try to bring you everything we can here in Indianapolis and Waco. And now, just 5 hours or so away from tip-off Baylor Gonzaga, SicEm365 Radio. Pickup Outfitters. You know, Jay Ehret's a Baylor alum. And what he's done with that business at 220 Lake Air Drive to me is amazing. I didn't even know it existed. Nothing to do or against the other owners prior to that. It's just I didn't even know it was there. Maybe it's because I just drove by it. I just didn't pay much attention. But then I started to watch what he did to endorse and then market his company, and he's been brilliant. And now he gave me information about what they can do to help change the inside of your truck, SUV, or your car with cat skin leather. Cat skin leather. There's something special about that. I'm talking leather seats, specifically cat skin leather from Pickup Outfitters in Waco. They're a leader brand. Cat Skin is the leader brand of leather replacement seats, and Pickup Outfitters is a Cat Skin authorized dealer and preferred installer. There are endless options, luxurious seats for your car, SUV, or truck, and the colors you want, the type of stitching you want, and then let Pickup Outfitters do their magic. Cool video, in fact, if you want to watch the process at createacommotion.com. Pickup Outfitters with leather replacement kits for both cars and trucks. Cat skin leather replacement kits. Customer leather seats. Factory matching leather seats. Pickup Outfitters. Outfit your truck with cat skin leather. createacommotion.com.
I hate my job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning. I dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Salsa drap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Alan Samuels, your hometown certified J.D. Power winner of the Customer First Award for Excellence, located at West Loop 340 and Highway 84. When looking for a new Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram vehicle, Alan Samuels is the place to go. And like Baylor men's basketball, it's their championship month as well. It's Alan Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, where you can find our inventory at AlanSamuelsDCJ.com or come in today. Alan Samuels, your friend in the car business.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones Whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
We continue our live coverage from Indianapolis, also in studio in Waco, joined by Seth Greenberg, ESPN College Game Day, who I want to say off the top, man, Seth, we appreciate all the time you've given us throughout the season. It's gotten to the point we are at the championship game. I know you've been a big believer in Baylor, and a lot of people have. Have you ever seen a collision course like this where they both made it to the championship game?
It's hard to remember one, quite honestly. You would have thought maybe it would have been Duke and Kentucky that year that Wisconsin knocked them out. That was a game that we all wanted to see for sure. But this has been a rare year. Michigan joined the party for a while. Illinois joined the party for a while. And, Baylor had the pause. Everyone, what's wrong with Baylor? Well, last time I checked, 44-20, I think it's 25 and forcing 6.5 turnovers a game. You don't get the virus and remain the same. It takes time to come back, and they've come back, and they've come back. And what they did to Houston, a very good rebounding team, holding the 5 offensive rebounds in the first half, that was impressive. And seeing Jared Butler shoot it and gain his confidence back, that was impressive as well.
How important was it for them to get that confidence back? And I know the answer to this question, knowing that their defense will go a little ways tonight, but they've got to score pretty much basket for basket all night long.
Yeah, they've got to score basket for basket. I think the biggest thing is they've got to take good shots and they can't turn it over. The Baylor defense is going to impact the game. It's going to impact the game. Now, obviously, Drew Timme is going to be a problem. They score 50 points a game to paint. But the Baylor backcourt's going to give Gonzaga problems. So, the most important thing is that they're getting good shots. So they have floor balance. If they're taking care of the basketball, they don't have to have a perfect game like maybe UCLA had because they have other options. I say it all along. I think the most important matchup is going to be, besides Timme and how you decide to guard him, the most important matchup is going to be the Kispert matchup. Can Mark Vital locate him in transition? Can he locate him as he becomes a cutter off the basketball? Or will Matt Meyer have to play and Matt, obviously make Kispert defend? I think a big thing about it sounds silly, but a big thing to beat Gonzaga is you've got to make Timme defend and you've got to make Kispert defend. You make Timme defend by putting in those ball screens and hope they switch them like they did against UCLA, or getting people to the rim where he's trailing the play and behind the play, and you make Kispert defend by attacking him like Tommy Hawkins did. So, that's going to be a really big matchup. We're doing a Sports Center hit at 6 o'clock, and the matchup to watch to me is Corey Kispert versus Mayer and Meyer and Vital. That's going to be a huge matchup.
Seth, I know a lot of people expected Baylor to win, but were you at all surprised with the ease at which they defeated Houston on Saturday?
I always thought Houston was offensively challenged. So against the good defense, they were going to be more offensively challenged. I always thought that Houston's best, offense was a missed shot. That's not going to work when you play really, really good teams. And Houston's path was fairly, without roadblock. Let's put it that way. I mean, they made it there without playing a single digit team, which is amazing. So I didn't think it was going to be that easy. I mean, look, you're playing good teams that have won, 30 games. You're playing teams that are well coached. You're playing teams that have toughness and compete and defend. I said before the game that game was Baylor 2.0 versus Baylor 1.0. 2.0 usually wins.
Seth, the way that Baylor has been able to overcome the pause, and a lot of teams had to do that, it is almost as if they had the perfect amount of time, even though at one point it looked like they may not have enough time. What does that say about them? Not just time gave them time to get better, but what does it say because of how experienced and old this roster is?
To me, it's their maturity. I mean, like experienced, old, mature. You listen to those kids' interviews, and they are adults. They're not kids. I mean, I say kids because every time I coach, I look at my players' kids. But the maturity, when you listen to, we've had Jared Butler on twice, I think, on our game day show. I mean, he's a stud. Forget about as a player. Perspective, balance, genuine, real. Davion Mitchell, the same thing. Maceo, the same thing. Mark Vital, the same thing. I mean, here, you got two guys on your team that you do not run a play for. You do not run a play for them. And they're happy as could be. They're going to run to the rim off ball screens. They're going to rebound. They're going to play in the dunker spot. They're going to play their tails off defensively. There's just a maturity from that group that's impressive.
Seth, for Gonzaga and the way that they won the game the other night, is there any emotional drop-off for them the way they had to do that, or it's the championship and that doesn't matter?
I don't know about emotional drop-off, but I think a physical. I mean, that was a grown man game now. I mean, you talk about, Jalen Suggs got him bell rung multiple times. I mean, look at the minutes that those guys played yesterday, the day before yesterday. 45, 40, 30, 42. That's a lot of minutes. But it is a championship game. But it's a different championship game. There'll be people in the crowd, but it's not going to be, it's not going to be what it is in terms of the adrenaline from the crowd.
Seth, at this point,
be different.
Seth, at this point,
you broke up there for a second. Go ahead, Craig.
Seth, at this point, you got a few hours until game time. What's kind of the mood in the locker room? What are guys talking about or not talking about? Just what's kind of the feel being a few hours out from tip-off?
Yeah, she's leaving for the arena probably in an hour, I would say, 5:30. Yeah, probably.
Well, I think we lost Seth there.
Yeah, for just a second. Paul's going to try to reconnect with him. John Gallagher, Hartford basketball coach, will call us back. Will call us here. We'll have him on momentarily as well. And then we start with one of the former names of Baylor basketball history that you don't hear much about, in Michael Williams. We're back with Seth Greenberg for just a few more minutes. Seth, thank you. Sorry about that. We lost you. Craig, you want to go back to your question?
Yeah, I got the question. Here's the deal. If I'm Mark Few, if I'm a Coach Drew, it's real simple. Besides the personnel and what you've covered with the team in film and everything else you've done, that last time I speak to my team, it's going to be so simple, it's ridiculous. Be you. Because when you guys are just you and everyone does what they're supposed to do and plays to the strength, that's what got us here. We're not reinventing ourselves tonight. we're being who we are. We're being Baylor basketball. We're going to defend. We're going to compete. We're going to play for each other. We're going to trust each other, and we're going to get to the next play. And if we do those things, winning and losing will take care of itself. It's not you don't have to say much. You really don't. Your team is prepared. You've done your film. You put in your game plan. They know who they are and how they win. Same thing with Mark Few. Hey, we're not changing for Baylor. We're not changing for Gonzaga. This is who we are. This is how we win. This is how we've gotten here. All right? Our guards, we have the best backcourt in college basketball. All right? Let's play to our strengths. Hey, play for each other. Give up a good shot to get a great shot. Make players for each other. Compete like hell defensively. Communicate, be connected, and be competitive. And then let's go out and have fun. Both of these coaches, that's been their approach. At the end of it all, go out and compete like hell, but have fun. Enjoy it, because you've earned this with everything you've been through all season long. You've earned this moment. Like I remember Coach Holland told our guys before we went out in '84 for the Final Four. So when you hit the edge of that tunnel, take it all in, and then go play your ass off. And that's what I think that's what those coaches are going to tell them to do.
With this last question for you, and again, thanks for all your time throughout the season. We didn't have this tournament. We've never seen this before where you didn't have a tournament and then you did. Has this been about as unbelievably filled with drama, Cinderella, buzzer beaters, and now you have this collision course about to happen that you could possibly want?
Yeah, it's really good. Here's the thing. We need to, everyone bashes the NCAA. Dan Gavitt, the NCAA, the city of Indianapolis, the doctors, the medical staff, the hotel people, the coaches, the players, the administrators, all the people that made this happen. Do you realize that of every American event last year, they played the Masters, they had a Super Bowl, we had an NBA championship, or we had an NHL championship, we had a Major League Baseball championship. You know the only major sporting event we didn't have last year in our country? The NCAA championship.
Yeah.
And we have it. And we have it. There's a reason we have it. We have it because so many people made so many sacrifices and worked so hard to make it happen. And I think that's pretty special.
Thank you, Seth, so much for your time throughout the year. Man, you've been great to have. You've always been fantastic at responding. Thanks. Enjoy your broadcast tonight with all you have coming up tonight as well. Seth Greenberg with us from ESPN College Game Day on SicEm365 Radio. Jay Bilas, Seth Greenberg. We're not done. Coming up, we still have more to come, including, he's back. What is the luck of the Irish? John Gallagher, Hartford basketball coach, is next on SicEm365 Radio. Waco Custom Marketplace has large lump crab meat, $13.50 a pound throughout this week. Also, regular snack sticks for $5.99 a pound. Fresh chicken tenders, $2.50 a pound. Boneless pork chops, $1.79 a pound. And 10 pounds frozen hamburger patties, a case for $39 or $35.50. Also, tri-tip, $4.50 a pound, and choice beef fillets, $15.99 per pound. And on top of that, you have until 6 o'clock Wednesday to order your 30-pound sacks of live crawfish. By 6 o'clock Wednesday to pick up after 2 on Friday or throughout the day when Waco Custom Marketplace is open on Saturday. You can go to WacoCustomMarketplace.com. They have weekly specials, and yet everything they have is special, from the bakery, fresh baked kolaches every single day along with fresh baked bread, and to the butcher shop with seafood, pork, poultry, and beef. Waco Custom Marketplace, your hometown grocery store, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Car has has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries, celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas. Our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Listen, in the past couple of years, we've had a lot of people moving in from out of state to Waco thanks to Chipper and JoJo. And while we welcome these new citizens, they unfortunately brought some of their bad habits with them. Hi, Jay here from Pickup Outfitters, and you know what I'm talking about. Naked trucks. You'd think everyone moved here from McNewtville, but we shouldn't judge them, we should help them. For example, when you see a recent transplant truck from a less civilized state like California, instead of saying, "Your truck is disgusting, your bed is exposed, get a bed cover on that truck, buddy," that's a bit harsh. Instead, try something like, in Texas, it's not polite to drive around with your bed exposed. Maybe you should check out the excellent selection of bed covers at Pickup Outfitters. And then if they refuse, you can say, "Well, I hear New Mexico's a nice state." Let's help our new neighbors and let them know that truck nudity is not okay. Let them know about Pickup Outfitters of Waco and send them to our website, createacommotion.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Are you a SicEm365 super fan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at SicEm365.com.
All right, we close out this 4 o'clock hour with the Lucky Charm and Hartford basketball coach John Gallagher, who Baylor opened up the tournament with. It seemed like it's been quite a while. He's been on with us week before the tournament and every week after the tournament, and he kept saying, "Hey, I'm going to be on with you next week," and he joins us. John Gallagher with us on SicEm365 Radio. Coach, you saw Baylor back when this thing started, and now you've seen what they've done. How much better are they even now than what you saw that opening game?
I was texting with some people that said our first 10 minutes was better than anybody's first 10 minutes in the tournament. And I can tell you right now, they are not hesitating. They are rolling right now. And this is as good as – this is pre-COVID Baylor. This is Baylor even better than pre-COVID. They're firing on all cylinders, and they are going to be really, really hard to beat tonight.
With the way that UCLA-Gonzaga game went down, did we learn anything new about Gonzaga and how to attack them, or was that UCLA playing – 99.9% of the perfect game they had to play and just not that 0.1% that had to be perfect to win?
So if you analyze the game, I watched the game twice, just because I was fascinated on how Mick – you got to just say, as a college basketball coach, it was the best offensive game plan I've ever seen going against Gonzaga. It was what I call a Jeff Van Gundy game, where you're not going to have a lot of passes on the perimeter, not a lot of ball movement, but you're going to move guys around because you don't want any live ball turnovers versus Gonzaga. And what he did was he spaced, he got Timmy in a lot of the ball screens, and then he spaced his matchups the way he wanted to. And then he did the second thing, which I took notes on. I was talking about it today. You got to make tough twos. You got to make some twos against Gonzaga. And I think, he just said, you know what, they're going to give us the 17-footer. We got to take it. I think it was the best offensive game plan I've seen against Gonzaga. And look, they shot 57%. But I think there's a lot Baylor can take away in the game.
Gonzaga's obviously, a lot of talk about their offense, but defensively, who is the guy that you have your eyes on if you're Gonzaga? Who's that X factor tonight for Baylor offensively?
The X factor, I'm just going to put it down to is, let's see if Davion Mitchell can keep it rolling with his energy and getting the ball in the lane. It's what we say starting the domino. When Davion Mitchell starts the domino, look out. And he's been playing in these games with such energy and such toughness. Like he's the X factor in this game, in my opinion.
You have Suggs with what he does. They have Nembhard. He can do what he does. And he kind of gets overshadowed because of Timmy, Kispert, and all the others. But is this a game where you probably have different players guarding different players and not one guy on one guy because it's going to be such a challenge?
It's two things. It's rotating guys, and then the second thing is, and Coach Drew's probably saying this, do we have to go small early? And then if we go small early, are we trying to attack Kispert off the bounce? It's the one thing I think could be an X factor. If you go 4 small, they keep Kispert at the 4. Let's just drive him. Let's drive him. I know he's a good defender, but I think it's something that Baylor, if they do get in any trouble and they have to crawl back into it, which I don't think they will, but if they go small and move Vital to the 5 and try to really go small ball, it's something to watch.
What do you do about Drew Timme?
Well, Baylor loves the double on the baseline double, okay? Obviously, I watched 11 of Ballard's games. And the baseline double could give Timme some trouble because it's going to – when you say double from the baseline side, it's a big Brad Stevens thing. You take the vision away on the top side and you come from the baseline side. I think you're going to see doubling early. And then the other thing in the game is the pace of play. I don't think Balor's going to slow this thing down. I think it's going to be a north-south game. It's going to be one of college basketball's best games. And it'll be a really, in my opinion, a well-played game. It's going to come down to who has the live ball turnovers.
Coach, we obviously saw Baylor roll on Saturday. Not much to really get too antsy about there, but just knowing how much you love college basketball, to see that finish of Gonzaga and UCLA, I mean, how great a game was that? And obviously the finish goes without saying.
So here's the funny thing about it, and I really mean this. If you look at college basketball, 20 years ago, when Gonzaga played Baylor, everybody in the country would have been rooting for Gonzaga. Mm-hmm. There was a large contingent of people. UCLA became David. UCLA is Goliath. Gonzaga is Goliath. And the transformation that Gonzaga now can be seen as the old UCLA, and UCLA can be considered like the new Gonzaga, is just so fascinating to me.
That's a great point because they used to be Cinderella, and now they're the big bad beast, right?
They got the pros. I mean, they have the pros. And look, I joke around with Huey all the time. Like, is there a job in the country you would take? He's like, we're Gonzaga. I'm not going anywhere.
That's a great point. We're talking to John Gallagher, the head coach at Hartford, Paul Catalina, Craig Smoak, and David Smoak.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to check on, I know, or you said it a couple times already. Have you practiced from Friday our pronunciation? Our producer Armstrong's with us today. He was off. He didn't get to see our coaching you on Friday. Have you worked on it?
You're not going to believe it. So I have a fire pit outside my house, and I have a couple of my ESPN buddies come over. I'll leave their names out, but we're having a cold beer, and we do it by the fire pit, all safety included. But I said this to them. I said, imagine, I said Green Bay, Baylor. Bay. Yo, I had these guys dying, man.
That's awesome.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Oh, my goodness.
When you bring a guy, hey, here's the thing. We have a line, Delco, Delaware County is where I'm from, Delco. You can take the kid out of Delco, but you can't take Delco out of the kid.
No, you can't.
Coach, I guess I know we're winding down here, but just kind of your gut feel entering tonight's game.
So, look, I'm like Baylor's good luck charm. So let's keep the roll on. Maybe I'll fly down to Waco for the parade. And
yeah.
Hey, maybe you'll buy me a good steak dinner. And I don't know. How far is it to Waco from Dallas? What is it?
90 minutes.
90 minutes, yeah. Right straight down I-35.
What a great state. What a think about the teams and the college basketball in Texas. Mm-hmm. This might be the best Texas basketball has ever been, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
been in 1968. Houston was in the Final Four, and I believe it was with either TCU or someone. And, of course, 67 the year before, it was in Houston and someone. That's when Elvin Hayes was playing, And then they haven't won a national title since 1966. You have two of the top four in the Final Four. You had 5 teams at one point, I think, ranked somewhere around the top 15 or 20. It's been one heck of a game. How important has this been to get this tournament in after what we experienced last year? And it has been about as good as it could possibly be.
I mean, Dan Gavitt and the NCAA, I saw Dan when I was down there. I said, look, man, whatever you're being paid, they should pay you double, because he got it in. And we were all skeptics. Every college coach in the country was skeptical. How are you going to do it? What are the logistics? You have 68 teams, 67 games in one city. What an amazing 3 weeks for college basketball, our business. I mean, I think just getting the tip when it tips off tonight is just going to be an exhale. Whoever wins the game, I think wins the game, but it's a win for college basketball, and we needed it. We needed it.
If you get down here for that non-conference game, if you guys make that happen, or if you ever come down to Central Texas, you make sure you let us know, and we will treat you to dinner and enjoy the night. Thank you so much, John. Coach Gallagher, you have been fantastic. Baylor fans appreciate everything you've brought to the table with your insight as well.
Let's go Bears.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Hartford head basketball coach who's become part of our SicEm365 college analysts. He has been incredible. Good luck to Hartford and Coach Gallagher. When we come back, former Baylor star Michael Williams, former Olympian Jeremy Wariner, Evan Miyakawa on the data and stats and analytics of tonight's game, and Chad Morris, the new football coach at Allen. Much more to come. Didi Richards in an hour. SicEm365 Radio.
The 22-year anniversary sales event continues at Richard Carr with anniversary savings on all cars and trucks on the lot. All 2021 Buicks have deep discounts. You can save $4,500 on a 2021 Buick Encore, $3,500 on a 2021 Buick Encore GX, or $3,500 on a 2021 Buick Envision. You can also save $6,000 off a 2021 Buick Enclave, where qualified buyers can get 0% financing for 72 months. And if you want the best truck on the road, well, you want a GMC. You can find savings like $8,000 off a 2021 GMC Sierra, or save $6,500 on 2021 GMC Acadias or Terrains. And Richard Carr Motors is your local family dealer that not only has great deals, but they want to earn your business with great prices, free oil changes with a new purchase, and priority warranty service on all vehicles bought on the lot. So come by their clean and disinfected showroom to take a test drive or let them bring the test drive to you. It's the big 22-year anniversary sales event going on now at Richard Carr.
How can we help you? That's a question we ask every day at American Bank. Hi, I'm President and CEO Dana Hassel. Our commitment to our customers is what drives us. It's why we've invested in new branch buildings and technology like ITMs that let you speak to a teller face-to-face from your car. It's why we work with local businesses, helping Waco grow and thrive. And it's why decisions about your accounts and loans are made here in Waco by people who know you. How can we help you? Find out at American Bank, member FDIC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
And it's been a long time coming. The Baylor Bears are back in the Final Four for the first time in 71 years.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Here goes Mitchell. Oh, what a pass! Driving off that baseline, Maceo Teague.
Our coverage of the NCAA Tourney in Indianapolis is brought to you by IdealMRI.com. Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Marco's Pizza, U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, American Bank, Willis Law Firm, Chapman's Bail Bonds, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, First National Bank of Central Texas, the Nitsche Group, and Pickup Outfitters.
Here comes Butler. He's shifty. Look at that. Look at this.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
A little nickel dimer in the lane, and it goes. Yes, the basket counts. Teague.
Now we go live to coverage of the NCAA men's tournament in Indianapolis. Here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
Back here on SicEm365 Radio, hour number 2. David Smoak live in Indianapolis. Craig Smoak, Paul Catalina back here at the home studios in Waco.
Okay, I'm back now. I think you guys can hear me now.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Craig Smoak and Paul Catalina at 101 Elm Avenue at MLK, and Armstrong Sims runs the mothership. David Smoak in Indianapolis. We are joined by one of the great players in Baylor basketball history, and Michael Williams. I got on the phone with Michael Saturday evening after Baylor mauled Houston, and he was so pumped up. And Michael, thanks for your time and joining us. Are you still about as pumped up as you were when I talked to you 48 hours ago?
Well, put it this way. I wore my Baylor green and gold to my office today, and my senior management was having a meeting. I just stepped in the room. I said, does anybody need me? Anybody need me today? And everybody just started laughing because I had my Baylor hat on. I don't have any hair anymore, but I never wear a hat to work. But I wore my Baylor green and gold hat, my Baylor green and gold shirt, and I even have some Baylor green and gold underwear. They didn't see that, though.
Yeah, I love it. That's good. Nowadays, showing people your underwear in the office is not going to end well for anyone. But Michael, watching the genesis of Scott Drew's program all this time as a Baylor alum, what were your thoughts when he first got here compared to now and what he's done?
Oh, man, years ago, even when he first started the program, at that time, and he still has a young face, but at that time he looked just like a recruit. And I saw the energy that he brought and his coaching staff and the way he looked at these kids coming out. Number one, he understood the new age recruitees, so to speak. And he knew that it was all about the kids, and you want to put the kids in the best position so they can be successful on and off the floor. And I remember about 5 years in, I was telling someone I used to be on the business school board, and I said, man, we just got to make sure we can keep him. And we've been blessed to have a talented coach with talented coaching staff around him, because we all know it's not only about what they're doing during the games, it's what they're doing in recruiting, making sure these kids get their education. And he's a true symbol of what Baylor University is all about.
What was going through your mind as you watched that game on Saturday unfold against Houston?
Well, I won a couple of dinners. I don't bet money with my friends. I had a running bet with Larry Brown, who's, needless to say, a TCU alum and MVP in the Super Bowl. He kept saying, Houston and Baylor are the same teams. I said, no, it's about matchups. I said, Houston only has 2 shooters, where we have 4 shooters. They both play good defense. Now, needless to say, I didn't think Houston was going to be cold except for the one kid, but it worked out. I mean, be down 25 points, I knew it was over.
Michael, we have talked to players from back in the late 40s when they made their last trip to 48, 50 teams in the Final Four. One played for a national title. We've talked to players from almost every decade. What has this meant to everybody who's been attached to Baylor basketball, no matter when you played?
Oh, it's pride. Our class with me, Robin McLemore, Frank Williams, Darryl Middleton, when they said that that Baylor basketball hadn't gone to the NCAA in so many years, And now to see what they've gone through with that debacle with some coaches before Scott Drew and his staff stepped on the campus, it's just pride. At the end of the day, it's the Baylor family. It is not only just us as players or ex-players, it's the whole Baylor University. For what our program has gone through and to be here tonight, man, and to be honest with you, I've been saying from day one that we were going to win it. And I'm glad that we got Gonzaga. I'm glad we're able to see them. It's going to be a great game, great matchup, great guard play, and we're going to show the nation that we're the best team in the country.
Now, Michael, you were a very good defensive guard. Is Davion Mitchell a player after your own heart?
Well, he's stronger. I weighed about 180 pounds wet. So I played off the ball really, really good. So I played the passing lane, and he's a great on the ball defensive. He reminds you of a Mookie Blaylock, someone that has great lateral movement, but yet can still score offensively. And I'm gonna tell you, he has played himself in the upper end of the first round of the NBA draft. I mean, he's a great player.
Yeah, Michael, I've been seeing I think he was kind of hinted at being a first-round guy, and lately I've been seeing him as a lottery pick.
Yeah, he's going to be up pretty high. I mean, he plays both ends of the floor, but the thing I've been impressed with over the last 2 or 3 games, I'm pretty sure he's been doing it all year, but against top competition, the way he's able to see the floor, and he can get a shot off on anyone. I mean, Butler is still the catalyst of our team. He's the leader, and his court awareness is the best I've seen as well. But to have them two along with Teague is a great team, especially in today's game.
Yeah. You were on teams that could score a bunch of points. In fact, I think you may have been on a record-setting team that put up a lot of points. You guys went to the free throw line a lot. I know you have that greatness at the free throw line. When you watch this team's explosiveness on offense, does it remind you of you anyway, your teams in any way?
Well, the difference when we were playing, especially on the college level, when I first got recruited and played for Jim Haller, we averaged 94 points a game. And we similarly had a 3-guard rotation, or not 3-guard rotation, but 3 starting guards that can get their own shot off with me, Carlos Briggs, and Eric Johnson, who's the younger brother of Benny Johnson. But when Gene Iver took over the program, he really wanted to come with more of a defense, had to pass the ball 6 or 7 times. I remember when I got drafted and I was in the rookie summer league, and even my coaches at Detroit, they said, we didn't know you were that fast, and because we walked the ball up when we were playing. But defense was always number one, but I think we only averaged maybe 65 points a game under Iver.
Did you ever take an elbow in practice from Bill Lambier or Dennis Rodman or anybody in those Detroit teams when you were there?
Well, put it this way, they call them love taps. It was not only Bill Lambier, we had Dennis Rodman, we also had Rick Mahorn.
Oh, yeah.
And they just pick you up off the floor. Well, at least Rick and Dennis would pick me up off the floor. Bill Lambier, in my rookie year, we won a championship game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he did not call me Michael until after the season. We were in the steam room, and he looked at me and shook my hand. He said, now I can call you Michael. You're no longer a rookie anymore. So can you imagine that whole year he called me Rook all year? And they treated me that way too, so it was a fun time.
Do you feel like those old Pistons teams get the credit that they deserve historically?
Yes and no. Yes, because to win 2 back-to-backs, you're going to get the credit because very few teams have done it. No, when you start looking at the all-time greats. I would put the Pistons right there behind the Lakers and the Celtics because they did it longer. I believe in that era, we would have been able to destroy the Golden State Warriors in that era. In this era, Golden State would beat us hands down because they just got great shooters. The game has changed to more of in my opinion, because kids are coming out earlier, more of a one-on-one, and whoever has the best skill set is going to win. And I think that's going to help us tonight against Gonzaga as well.
You know, Michael, you had that incredible streak at the free throw line. And I guess when it's so natural, you don't start thinking about it. If you do, you might not do something normal in your setup or your delivery. When did you start realizing where you were in that streak of 97 consecutive free throws?
That's a great question. The Timberwolves record was 36 in a row. And I'd made 34 in a row. And we went to play against Sacramento. And Spud Webb was not only a mentor, him and Ron Harper, when I was a rookie playing for the Pistons, I literally had the penny loafers with a penny in it. And they took me under the wing and said, you got to get rid of the penny loafers. You're in the NBA now. but Spud was a starting point guard for Sacramento, and he took me out the night before, and I said, listen, I'm going to give it to you tomorrow. And I ended up going 16 for 16 from the line. So the reporter came up to me after the game and said, well, you know, the record is 78. I said, what record? He said Calvin Murphy's record, which stood for 14 years. And Chuck Person, who I got traded with for Pooh Richardson and Sam Mitchell from Indiana to Minnesota, Chuck said, Mike, you can get that record. And that's when you start thinking about it. I mean, every shot, every night you go to bed. And then we went and played in Denver. And earlier that year, I went 5 for 10 from the free throw line, and I went 9 for 16 in the 2 prior games. And it was a technical foul, and Doug West, my teammate, said, no, I'll take it, because at that time I made 63 in a row. And I looked at him, I said, nah, I'm going to knock this down. And once I knocked those 2 free throws down, I knew I was going to break the record.
What do you think about, from a former player's perspective, the relationship that you guys have with the current group and Scott Drew and that staff? You know, he's obviously got a great relationship with the players who have played underneath him, but how has he been able to also bridge that gap, in your opinion, with the guys who came before him?
I would say welcoming. He has always welcomed me. And that's the reason why I want you to tell him I said this after he wins. He's invited me down to the games. Matter of fact, games that before they were going to play against Kansas, I would come in, speak to the kids, come to practice, and they always fell short. So I have not called nor text. I haven't done anything for this whole NCAA tournament. Even though I want to reach out to him, tell him congratulations, wish him luck. No way, I'm not doing anything like that. But he has been nothing but a pillar of resources, with the relationships that he's given me, and also saying, hey, you're always welcome. And if you go through that locker room, he has all of the ex-players there, and that's what it's about. And it's not only about recruiting kids, but it's also having the freedom to have older players to come back and see them and be a part of not only their success, but be a part of Baylor Nation.
You know, Michael, I know Baylor basketball means a lot to you, but Baylor itself, the university, has meant a lot to you, and you have also become incredibly successful in business. How much did Baylor mean to you in the end? And also tell us about how you got into the real estate business and what you're doing.
Great. Thank you for asking. When I was playing, I got, as a mentor, a guy by the name of Dave Bing, when I was playing for the Pistons. And Dave owned Dave Bing Steel. And I remember I played a lot in the first half of the season, but the second half, when we were making our playoff run, I tell people I was the fourth guard in a 3-man rotation. And people say, what? I said, no, I was the fourth guard in a 3-man rotation. But Dave Bing educated me on what he had to do while he was playing in the NBA. And that's when he started his company. And Finis Dembo, who was an all-state team, he and I was rookies on that team. I told Finis, I said, my goal is to see if I can play. And if I can't play, I'll go do something else. Because I went through Baylor's business school, made Omicron National Honor Society and all of that. But one thing that I did get is a great education from Baylor in business. And I started working for different companies during the off season. When I was playing for the Indiana Pacers, once I got established, I started into T-shirt apparel with a company called Logo 7. And when I went to Minnesota, I worked during the off season at a company called New Mechanical, which got me acclimated to the construction industry. I now own 3i Holdings and 3i Contracting. We were the first African-American owned company to build a new school from ground up in Dallas Independent School District history. And we were the first to partner with Manhattan to build a new Cowboy Stadium. We've been in business for 18 years. You know, we combined $50 million. And all of this started from getting a good education at Baylor.
Michael, enjoy your green and gold tonight. Good luck to your alma mater, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, and go Baylor. Go Baylor, sick 'em bad. Let's go do it.
There you go. That's Michael Williams. He was fantastic at Baylor, and some of you reached out to me. We'll have that podcast up like all the others. The Seth Greenberg podcast is back up. It had a link issue, but that's back and going as well. And we're not done. For another great Baylor athlete coming up next, an Olympian gold medalist, Jeremy Wariner, Evan Miyakawa, and also Allen High School coach Chad Morris, Didi Richards at 5, SicEm365 Radio. PettyClinicLowT.com. Dr. Kent Petty can help you become the high-performance man that you want and need to be. How do you do that? You call him. You text him. You get in touch with him. You get online, PettyClinicLowT.com. You tell him Smokey sent you. If you are, I don't know, you could be 29, you could be 64, I don't know. But as you get older, and sometimes younger than maybe you think, your testosterone levels start to change. And your testosterone levels, when they get lower, a lot of other things can happen. 1 out of every 3 men have symptomatic issues when it comes to low testosterone. It could be ED, sex drive, lethargic, or maybe moodiness, or you just don't feel right and you don't sleep well as well. So here's what you do. Get online. Contact PettyClinicLowT.com. They will get you set up with lab work, an appointment to get your blood test. And when they get the results, Dr. Petty will look at your testosterone levels. They also constantly check for your PSA levels as well, cholesterol and others. He'll check your testosterone levels, and if they're too low, he can put you in a program to increase your testosterone levels, and that means you get back to where you want to be as a high-performance man. Sex drive, sleep, energy, all of the above, sometimes part of that. PettyClinicLowT.com.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Texas Board Certified Personal Injury Trial Lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recall drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com. Principal office located in Houston, Texas.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio Live Guest VIP Hotline is sponsored by Stonewood Dental. We are all in this together.
All right, this 4 o'clock hour continues. Didi Richards, on her decision to enter the NBA draft, will be with us today at 5 o'clock, among others. We're now joined by Olympian and gold medalist Jeremy Wariner from Baylor on SicEm365 Radio. Jeremy, we just had Michael Williams on, former player. We've had a lot of former players, coaches even. What does this all mean, watching Baylor make this run deep into the championship game?
Well, I mean, it means a lot to the university, especially to the basketball program and what went on before Coach Drew got here. And he's been able to turn that program around and has been successful with it for years. So it's not like just a one-year thing. It's every year. He's bringing in top athletes. They're buying into his system, and they're having fun out there. This is, like I told Coach Drew and the team. I sent the video for him before Saturday's game, and I told him that this is by far the most excited team I've watched that he's coached, and they have fun when they play. They're out there. They're just enjoying themselves and doing what they love to do, and you can tell.
Jeremy, we had Matt Driscoll on, last week sometime, and he relayed a story that Epe Udo pretty much got locked into coming to Baylor by just walking over and seeing you in the weight room. Did you know that you were such a big part of the Baylor recruiting pitch?
I had no idea. I had no idea. I do remember, I used to always lift in the basketball weight room. That's where the track coaches' office used to be at in the basketball arena in the Carroll Center. So we'd always go down there and lift, and I'd see all the basketball guys coming in there in the morning. If they had recruits in, Coach Drew would bring them in there, and I'd talk to them for a little bit. But I really never knew that I was helping that much, if any. So it's kind of cool to see. I go back whenever I'm back, and if there's ever recruits in, I'll talk to the recruits. I'll do whatever they need me to do, as I'm along. I enjoy my time at Baylor, and I go back again.
Jeremy, are you like everybody else when you first met Scott Drew? You thought there's no way this guy can be this positive all the time?
Yeah, he every time I talk to him, he's always laughing, smiling, having a good time. you know, at some point you're like, well, where's the downs? Where's the downs? And he's just always bringing everybody up, and you just never see it with him. And you know, that's why the team has so much fun the way they do.
You know, Jeremy, Baylor, you hear about the family. A lot of different colleges or universities, a lot of players come back on campus or they want to be on the sidelines of a big football game. We know about that. Is Baylor different than not everybody, but a lot of people, because it truly is something that continues that way?
Yeah, I think so. You know, we're not one of those huge universities where, you know, huge enrollment, huge alumni. You know, we're a smaller university, but we're more of a family. Especially as athletes, we all know each other. So we all try and come back and support every sport, not just football, not just basketball. We always try to support all the sports.
How do you watch games when you are as a fan? Do you get into it? Are you a quiet fan? As an alum and an elite athlete from a school, I'm always curious as to how different people kind of take in the games.
You know, when I was at Baylor, I was more of a quiet fan. I would go to the game, support them. But now as I'm getting older, I'm more into it than I have been in the past. Just the excitement. I'm cheering louder. I think a lot of it is I'm a father now, so I have kids that are in high school, and you know, the way I cheer for her, I'm cheering for Baylor at the same time. So as I get older, I'm cheering louder and louder every year. So that's pretty much how I am now.
Jeremy, you obviously were a part of a lot of big races. What was your mentality before, you know, a night like tonight for these guys? And what do you think's kind of going through their head here with a few hours to go?
Well, for me, it didn't matter what race I was in, whether it was the Olympics or the Michael Johnson invite. I took every race the same exact way. It wasn't. I never looked at it as the big one or anything like that. I just took them all the same because I knew if I started thinking about it as this is a must win, this is the big game or the big race, that's when I started, you know, that's when I felt like I would go the wrong direction. But if I took it as it's just another race, I've done it so many times that I'd be able to focus properly. And I think that's what they're doing right now. I don't think they're taking this as a national championship game. It's just another game of basketball to them, and you'll see that tonight.
Jeremy, we had Michael Williams on, who played back in the early 90s, and he's become an incredible businessman. I know you have gotten into the business as well outside of your career as an athlete and what you did in track and field. What was that like to go from the transition of competing as an athlete to competing as a businessman? And did it transition where you used what you were as an athlete as a businessman?
Yeah, it did transition. You know, a lot of it was how hard I worked on the track at practice and how dedicated I was. I was the same way when in the business that I own. We sold our Jimmy John's back in December, so I'm no longer doing that. But now I'm a high school coach in Dallas, so the way I was coached in high school and at Baylor through Mike Ford and Clyde Hart, I'm coaching the same exact way with the kids that I have now, just trying to give them that experience that I've had throughout my career and trying to give it to them and get them to the next level, whether it's athletically, academically, or just as a person.
I asked you this about what it means now, this run. What would it mean if they win tonight, besides the obvious?
Besides the obvious, I think it'll just show what kind of dedication Coach Drew has had and his coaching staff has had throughout the years, and that they never gave up. They just continued fighting, and for it to happen the way it's happening this year and the year that we've had in the last year with the virus, you know, they've been taking it one day at a time, one game at a time, and they're fighting for it, and I think they will come out on top.
Jeremy, appreciate it. That story about Epe Udo was classic. Appreciate that. Yeah. Appreciate you being a part of this on an incredible day, we think. And no matter what, with Baylor Nation, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Jeremy Wariner, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, won a silver medal as well, won world championship gold medals as well from Baylor. And that was just a little nugget that Matt Driscoll dropped in on us, guys, right? With that recruiting trip. with Baylor and Epe Udo with Matt Driscoll and the coaching staff. Well, they saw an Escalade, I think it was. And, well, whose is that? Well, it's Jeremy Wariner. What? And then they saw him, as you mentioned, Paul, working out as well. Waiting on Evan Miyakawa. Also, we'll have Allen High School football coach Chad Morris, who late last week was announced as the coach to replace Terry Gamble. 5 o'clock, Didi Richards. On the week after, she has made the decision, along with teammate Dejanay Carrington, to enter the WNBA draft, and what that decision was like, the emotions with that, and then also still much more, including Tristan Clark at 5:30. Jason King breaks it down with us in about an hour, and the possibility of a guest or two along the way. Texting with us, we appreciate a lot of those who have texted today. Here's some more from the text line from Brandon. I will admit, I wasn't always convinced Scott Drew, was the one. When we lost those first-round games, I was livid. Give it time and breath, and I think it's the thing we all need to learn. And I said this about Paul. That's a great example. I'll never forget. You were at that game. They lost to Georgia State, and I remember doing the show that day, and there were people that said, enough. He can only take you so far. Imagine how many times coaching changes are made because of emotion and not by stopping, taking a deep breath, and understanding the big picture.
I would love for those people who did that, and if they even remember doing it, to just, send us a text or call us back later in the week and say, okay, I was wrong. Because I remember saying, I was standing in the rain in Jacksonville outside the arena, and I heard that caller before you came to me, and the caller was like, I'm just fed up with this. This is ridiculous. I mean, they hadn't even lost to Princeton yet. This was just that loss that they had. And he was, this is ridiculous. I can't believe they've done this. They should be ashamed of themselves. And I said, that caller was like two callers and then me, both of the same sentiment. I remember the first thing was like, are those two guys insane? Like the school doesn't go to the NCAA tournament for 15 years before he gets there, and then he gets them there pretty much every year, and you want him gone already? What are you doing? Yeah.
I just saw this note. Casey Horney, former Baylor assistant. He's been at Texas, is now the special teams coordinator at Florida International. So that's a story from a former Baylor coaching staff back in the early part of the 2000s under Art Briles. We're now joined by Evan Miyakawa. Evan Mia, MIYA.com, joins us on this national championship game. Well, Evan, you pretty much have been showing that this was a collision course based on not just what we saw with our eyes, but what we see when it comes to data, analytics, stats, and whatever else. Any surprise at all for you then?
No, not at all. I think this is the matchup that we've been looking forward to all season. And I think certainly, with Baylor's post-COVID pause performance, some people wanted to jump in with Michigan or Illinois being that number 2 team behind Gonzaga. And there were certainly arguments there. But when you look at the whole body of work, Baylor is the team that deserves to be in this game versus Gonzaga. And I think they're the team that's got the best chance of beating them in this game. So I'm really looking forward to this matchup.
How did your needle move analytically after Saturday?
It's definitely a big deal. I mean, not only did Baylor crush Houston and show that they were by far the better team, but Gonzaga, had to win in a thrilling fashion against a double-digit seed, and that's a big deal. So while this did not change what the most likely outcome is, which is a Gonzaga win, it definitely made this seem like closer to a toss-up, and I think this is great, not just from an analytical perspective, but also just from a storyline perspective. This Baylor team looks like a team that really can take it to Gonzaga.
Evan, going into tonight, what are maybe either a couple of players or a couple of the matchups that you think are of the utmost importance?
Well, I think the most interesting one by far is Gonzaga's, star freshman Jalen Suggs and his heroics versus Baylor's arguably their best player in Davion Mitchell. Both of those guys run the point. Both are incredible defenders, both from an eye test point of perspective and from an analytical perspective. So I think that matchup is the most intriguing to me. I think the dark horse advantage that Baylor could have in this matchup is their depth, in the fact that their guys off the bench, I think, have an edge on Gonzaga's players. Gonzaga's starting lineup 1 to 5, they're all really, really strong. But, given the fact that they played an overtime game and an emotional win, 45 minutes played by some of those players, it could be Baylor's depth in this game that proves decisive in the end.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because what Flagler and Meyer do when they come off the bench, but I think there's no question that he was one of those affected as much by the pause was Jonathan Tchamwa. He seems to have that energy that was such a story early in the year before pause.
I absolutely agree. And when he comes in the game for Flofamba, or even if he's playing with Mark Vital's minutes, there is no drop in performance. And that's something that they noted, the announcers noted in their game against Houston, is when Baylor brings in their first batch of guys off the bench, nothing changes for them. They're still such a strong team. I have loved the way that Chama Chacho has played in this tournament, and I think he could be a real key to this game and Baylor's success.
What do the numbers tell you about Drew Timme and how he could possibly ever be slowed down?
Drew Timme is number 1 in the nation in offensive Bayesian performance rating, which is my metric at my site that quantifies player impact. So he is about as unstoppable on the offensive end as it gets, and I do think he is going to be Gonzaga's key, particularly against a Baylor front court that, while they are really solid, is not their strength. So I think Drew Timme and the way that he performs tonight could be really key. He has been so consistent in this tournament. He's really good games, and down the stretch in overtime versus UCLA, he was their bucket getter when they couldn't get anything else. So I think Drew Timme is probably their most dangerous player tonight.
Evan, we always ask you, and I'm sure we have a couple more questions about the analytics and the breakdown, but you, as a Baylor fan, what has this journey been like to watch and to know that they're in the national championship game tonight?
It's one thing at the beginning of the year to say that Baylor has a good chance of making this game and seeing their body of work, but it's another to actually get here and have this game happening. So this is incredibly special, and I just don't think you can overstate how impressive it is that they've made it this far, even given the fact that many thought they might get here. Winning 5 games to get to this point is very, very difficult. You can ask a lot of other teams in this tournament who had high hopes that didn't get there. So I'm incredibly impressed, and I think the fact that they are playing their best ball, in my opinion, that they've been playing all season, just means they're peaking at the right time.
How much of a jump compared to how much of a drop did they suffer with some of the analytics, Evan, when they did go into that little bit of, I don't want to say a funk, but they were struggling? Have they rebuilt to where they were before then analytically as well?
Yes. No team before a COVID pause and after a COVID pause had a larger drop in performance than Baylor, and it wasn't even close. So that was a huge, huge deal for them. I think the way that they're playing now, and the analytics back this up, they are playing arguably as well as they did at any time before the COVID pause. I also went and looked at this today. At my site, their win probability for this game tonight is 32%. But if you omit all of the games in the regular season after their COVID pause through their loss to Oklahoma State in the tournament and just look at their games pre-pause and in this tournament, that win probability rises to 45%. So almost a toss-up versus Gonzaga. And I think it's arguable that that's the Baylor team that's going to be on the court tonight.
Evan, I got to tell you, man, I started noticing what you were doing back during the early part of the year. So glad we had a chance to kind of connect with you. Armstrong, of course, putting you on tonight and with us today. Appreciate your time. I hope your business and what you're doing has taken off like you wanted, and this is just a few months into it if you think about it.
Yeah, it's been a huge blessing and just so much great engagement. And I really appreciate all of your support and allowing me to be on this show, which I've been a fan of for a long time. So I really appreciate all of it. It's been a really fun journey, and we'll continue to see where it goes.
Go enjoy it. Evan Miyakawa, Evan Miya on online.com, of course, and Evan Miyakawa with us. He's been with us throughout the year. The Jason Kings, the King McClures, the Evan Miyakawa, and so much more. Seth Greenberg and Bilas, and my goodness. When we come back, we'll take a little bit of a detour with college basketball with Allen football coach Chad Morris, Didi Richards at 5, and then Tristan Clark, Jason King, among others, we think in the 5 o'clock hour. And this is SicEm365 Radio. IdealMRI.com, where you could save yourself hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars if you need something that your doctor suggests should be looked at closer in a view with an MRI. And, oh, by the way, Ideal MRI in the Central Texas Marketplace in Waco off I-35 and just on the access road of Loop 340 and also Highway 6 inside the Central Texas Marketplace has a state-of-the-art MRI machine that will get that picture, that view that your doctor desperately needs, and also that you need because something hurts, not just sore. Something's worse than that. Torn, shredded, I don't know, muscle, ligament, whatever it is that keeps you up. You can't function. It just hurts more than it should. And your doctor says, well, we need to get an MRI. And that's when you say, okay, how about idealmri.com? On average, an MRI can cost $1,100. That's on average. So some higher than that. Their MRIs are $497 or less every single time. And they could also help you navigate through insurance to make sure you could save even more money. Ideal MRI in the Central Texas marketplace, a chance to find out what bothers you. So when your doctor asks about an MRI or says you need one, you tell him or her idealmri.com.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available. Touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool. Upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
If you or a loved one or friend has been arrested and you can't afford bail, trust Terry and Chase Chapman at Chapman's Bail Bonds, covering Waco and McLennan County for over 25 years. Chapman's can bail you out anywhere with experienced, knowledgeable local agents who are committed to serving you professionally, respectfully, and with the highest integrity. Chapman's understands your privacy is important. Your freedom can be secured fast when you use Chapman's Bail Bonds. Open 24 hours a day. Payment arrangements available. Call Chapman's Bail Bonds. When you need help, 254-754-1603. When you ring, we'll spring.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
All right, we take just a little bit of a detour with all the coverage, Indianapolis and March Madness. We'll have Didi Richards at 5, and then back to getting involved in Baylor and Gonzaga tonight for the national championship. We're joined by Chad Morris, the football coach now at Allen High School. Started in East Texas at Eustis. He went to school at Edgewood, and now back in the Texas High School Coaches Association at Allen. Chad, thank you, Coach. Paul, Catalina, Craig Smoak, David Smoak. So you spent your first 16 years in Texas high school football. I know you had a career in college for over a decade. Did you always think there was a chance that this could happen again?
Well, first of all, David, it's great talking with you, man. You've always been one of my close guys that I always trust in, and I appreciate you having me on. And you know what? Back in those days of Eustis and Elysian Fields and and the success that we had and blessed to be around great coaches and players. When I stepped away, I guess it was 2009, we went back-to-back state championships at Lake Travis in 8 and 9 and went into Tulsa after that. And, I really didn't know. I'm not one that really kind of tries to plan out too far in advance. I knew that if the college route, if I didn't try it, David, I would regret myself. And I tried it. I got, again, blessed to be around some incredible leaders, Dabo Sweeney, and then being able to branch off and become a head coach at SMU and turn at that point to, a really bad program, turning it around. But I really didn't know. I wanted to just kind of see what where the good Lord took me and play it day to day. And that's kind of the way I've always lived my life.
What was the X factor in coming back to high school football for you?
Well, I think, first of all, the tradition of excellence here at Allen. I've recruited all over this country, all over the Southeast, and walked in many high schools, very successful high schools all over Florida, Georgia, Alabama, all through the Carolinas. And when you mention Allen High School, everybody knows where Allen High School is. And it was going to take a special job to get me back in because I didn't know what was next with me. I didn't know if I was going to stay out a year, if I was going to try to just see what was next, get back into college at some point. But when this job opened up and the memories and the ability to impact lives, and not just impact players, but mentor young coaches that need it now more than ever, this was one that I looked over at Paul. It was like 10:30 one night, and Paul and I were sitting on the couch. I looked at her and I said, "Hey, Allen High School," and she just kind of grinned, and the rest is history.
I mean, Coach, there's no better program in the country right now. I mean, as far as regular high schools, there's the IMG academies and that type, but I mean, it doesn't get better than Allen, does it?
No, I've been very blessed to be a part of some great programs, and my last stop, Lake Travis, being one of them.
Right.
But this is to me, this is as good a high school job as there are all across the country. And they got the numbers, they got the winning tradition. With dating back to when Joe Martin was here, even Todd Graham and Tom Westerberg, and then obviously following what Terry did here. And I just feel like that there's still things that I can bring to the table and add to this program to make it an elite program year in and year out.
Chad, have you thought about this? At Allen, of course, you know what the standard is. No different than Stephenville, Lake Travis, Bay City, or other places you've been. If, in fact, you get a chance to be back in that position to host up a state championship trophy, will it mean more than it did the first time you ever did that?
Well, I don't know if it will mean more, but it'll definitely be awful special. I mean, it's each time that we had a chance to play for it and win a state championship, every year brought a certain uniqueness and specialness. And this would, hopefully we would have that opportunity, and we're going to definitely work hard to get to that point. And I'm sure it'll have a bittersweet sweetness to it, considering, where I am, David, in my career and just the perspective of things. I was obviously younger back then, and now it's just my perspective on things and just the impacting kids and watching how young men can be molded. That's really, really important to me right now, as well as molding young coaches.
Coach, you've been on the recruiting game on both sides of it, and obviously you're going to have people lined up at Allen High School, like you said, to recruit your players. What, having been on the side of now being the recruiter and now being the coach who has to guide people through recruiting, will help you and change your perspective after you've done it?
Well, I think, first of all, understanding, the position I'm in right now, there's not a whole lot of head coaches in the high school ranks that can say that they've sat on that side of the table as a Division I head football coach in a SEC, and not only that, but have also been a head high school coach. So I've been able to go through the recruiting aspect as a high school coach and telling the parents what to expect, and then obviously being a head Division I coach and what coaches are looking for. And on top of that, I've also been a dad of a major Division I prospect that went through the recruiting process and is now playing college football. So I believe I've got a lot of knowledge that I can share with our parents, with our players. If you want to get recruited, this is what you have to do. I've got the connections all over the country. But more importantly, just to understand that these players, these kids right now they're in the best time of their life. And to enjoy the moment and let all that other stuff with recruiting and college football, it'll be there if it's supposed to be there, because at that point it becomes a job, and that's what it is. But there's a level of pureness at the high school rank that I want to make sure that our players fully understand to savor these days.
Were you a fan of the transfer portal?
I'm a fan of what's best for the student athlete. And, obviously going through it with my own son right now. Yeah. And I firmly believe that, as you look across the landscape of college football, things are different than what they were 3-4 years ago. And, these student athletes are seeing that, coaches can leave and go from one school to the next, and they have the right to do the same thing. And so I think it has benefited them, but here's the problem. You get into young men getting bad information and jumping into a portal, leaving a full scholarship and getting into the portal and sitting there without any opportunity to pay for their education. And so I think it's great for student athletes, provided they have the right guidance.
Well, then, Chad, I have to ask you, because Allen, you are close enough, and you would have found a way to be able to watch your son play if you could, because you've done that before. But with that being said, did the fact that Chandler will be in Fort Worth and playing football, we think, did that help when the job in Dallas-Fort Worth became available?
Well, it definitely had a lot to do with it, David. It really did. It was I'd been away from him. He was, at OU last year, and I was in Auburn, and, 12 hours apart. He was committed to playing for us at Arkansas, and that didn't work out. And so, my daughter is the director of on-campus recruiting coordinator for Seth at North Texas. And so, kind of the Morris family's kind of in a 45-minute radius, and that had a lot to do with it. It really did. And the fact that, I asked Chandler and I asked McKenzie, and, we've been all over the country. And I said, I asked them one night, I said, hey, I'm thinking real seriously about taking this Allen job. And both of them looked at me and they said, Dad, that will be really cool. And I thought, wow, we've been all over the country, some really cool places. But for them to say that, it's pretty special to them to know that, their dad's close by as well.
Coach, you obviously are not taking over a program that's in need of a major rebuild. Terry Gamble, we knew him at Midway. He was 65-4 in his 5 seasons at Allen, and obviously success with other coaches before him. So where do you start with this program? How do you begin to put your touches on it? What are some of the first things that you start to analyze and look at?
Well, you got to get the players' trust, and you do that through time. Fortunate enough, I've done this several times before. I've come in and been a part of some great programs and added to them. It's about trust. It's about being genuine and authentic, and that's kind of who I've always been. And they've got to be able to see that I'm human and I'm a dad. Football is what I do. It's not who I am. And when they can see, and a lot of these kids know my son because Chandler would always, from Highland Park, he would always come to Allen and he would throw, and he'd work with Kevin Murray, and they'd give me, so a lot of these kids know who my son is, and just to be able to them to see that I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and I'm going to have fun. Again, I'm at a different point in time in my career, and life is too short not to have fun coaching football and impacting lives. And I assure you, from what we've gone through and the success that we've had, we're gonna carry that forward.
Chad, thank you for jumping on with us. I appreciate you. Thanks for your time. Good luck. And enjoy the night. You got Baylor winning tonight?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, David. I was going to say, I know we got a lot of Baylor fans out there listening right now. And, man, that's so great for Waco. It's so great for that university and for the state of Texas. Unbelievable. Absolutely, I'm going to be a huge Baylor Bear fan tonight. And, man, I hope we can pull them out and get a national championship brought back to the state of Texas.
It's been too long. Thank you, Chad. Chad Morris, I've known Chad Morris since he played high school football in Edgewood and now back as the head coach at Allen High School. Thanks for his time. When we come back, she made the decision along with Dejanay Carrington, not a surprise, to enter the WNBA draft. She's had the weekend to kind of decompress. We'll hear from Didi Richards, also Tristan Clark, who used to be a part of the Baylor men's basketball team, and maybe basketball is still in his future. That plus Jason King and more. SicEm365 Radio. Alan Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. And here comes some new incentives for the month of April. Ram Truck Month, three-peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year, back-to-back years. Top safety pick for trucks in 2021. The 2021 new Ram 1500 Crew Cab. The Lone Star, total values of $5,500 or 0% financing for 84 months. They have the Jeep Celebration event that's going on. The most decorated SUVs available, Jeep built tough and built for you to have a comfortable ride, including the new 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude, values of $5,250 or 0% for 84 months. 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude, the Plus model, $5,000 in total value, 0% for 84 months. And the Cherokee Laredo from Jeep Grand Cherokee, $3,750 total values or 0% for 72 months. And Chrysler, the Pacifica, the hybrid limited total values of $7,000 or 0% for 72 months. As they say, and Ted Teague has talked about, it's been championship stretch drive through the month of March and now into tonight's game with Baylor. And like Baylor, Alan Samuels wants to give you championship service, championship quality, and championship product. Alan Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat on Loop 340 east of 84 in Waco.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
How can we help you? That's a question we ask every day at American Bank. Hi, I'm President and CEO Dana Hassel. Our commitment to our customers is what drives us. It's why we've invested in new branch buildings and technology like ITMs that let you speak to a teller face-to-face from your car. It's why we work with local businesses, helping Waco grow and thrive. And it's why decisions about your accounts and loans are made here in Waco by people who know you. How can we help you? Find out at American Bank, member FDIC.
Alan Samuels, your hometown certified J.D. Power winner of the Customer First Award for Excellence, located at West Loop 340 and Highway 84. When looking for a new Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram vehicle, Alan Samuels is the place to go. And like Baylor men's basketball, it's their championship month as well. It's Alan Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, where you can find our inventory at AlanSamuelsDCJ.com or come in today. Alan Samuels, your friend in the car business.
And it's been a long time coming. The Baylor Bears are back in the Final Four for the first time in 71 years.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Up top here is Heidel. Oh, the catch and the finish. Nice rim run on the baseline for big Mark Heidel.
Our coverage of the NCAA Tourney in Indianapolis is brought to you by IdealMRI.com, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Marco's Pizza, U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, American Bank, Willis Law Firm, Chapman's Bail Bonds, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, First National Bank of Central Texas, the Nitsche Group, and Pickup Outfitters.
Flagler reaching in with the steal, and now Mitchell gets around Moody.
And Meyer can drill it.
He does! Off the bench, Matthew Meyer with the three.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Tom Albers, staying in touch with you and your money through these difficult and changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
That's what kills you.
Teague,
you sniff,
what a night.
you pay.
What a night for him.
Now we go live to coverage of the NCAA Men's Tournament in Indianapolis. Here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
Men tonight against Gonzaga, tip-off 8:20 Central, 9:20 here in Indianapolis. Scott Drew and the Bears against Gonzaga for the national championship, and someone that understands a national championship because she experienced it a couple of years ago. One of the probably as popular and maybe all-time popular Lady Bears in Didi Richards on SicEm365 Radio. Didi, we're going to get into your decision to enter the WNBA draft, but your thoughts about the men's team tonight and the journey they have been on and playing for the national title.
Oh my God. When I tell you guys, I'm so proud. I'm so excited. I so hope that they pull out the win. I just know they will. I believe in them. If no one else does, I just know we're going to win it. I don't know why I'm feeling so good today, but they're going to win.
Didi, we heard from three-time Olympic gold medalist and Baylor alum Jeremy Wariner earlier about how close-knit the athletes are at Baylor across different teams. I know you guys don't, especially this last year, you probably hardly got to see each other, but for the guys on the team that you've been in school with for all this time, what is that relationship like between the two teams?
just to piggyback off of what he said, we are definitely so tight and, closely bonded. It's just so good to see. And it's not even just the basketball team. It's the crazy part. I think we're close to the volleyball team. A couple of our teammates are real close to the football team. It's just Baylor as an atmosphere. It's just so family oriented and we're just bonded together. But it's just so good to see, Jared, Davion, Maceo, dudes that I talk to, all the time on this, stage, ready to go and win it. I'm just excited. I can't wait to turn on TV and watch them.
So, Didi, what have the last few days since the season wrapped up been like for you? Obviously, the WNBA commitment, you're going to be headed off to play pro ball, but just kind of what has life been like since the last game?
I've been living vicariously through our men. I'm not really ready to let go of NCAA, but it's time to take bigger steps and leaps of faith at this point, and I'm ready to take the risk, and that's what happened.
Did you watch any of the games after your game against UConn?
I did. Bits and pieces. I couldn't fully commit to one game. Other than national championship, the one yesterday. But other than that, unfortunately, I'm super bitter. So happy, so happy for the Final Four teams and Stanford and Erie and Arizona for making such a loud noise in the NCAA. But I'm so sad, to be expected though.
Didi, what have people told you about the process of getting ready for the WNBA draft, of the things you got to do?
I haven't really. I'm more of a person that when it's something so big, I get really bad anxiety, super nervous, kind of start doubting. And so the people around me know that. So they try to only talk about things that I have to talk about. So right now it's been, talking to different agents, trying to figure out me and my agent situation. But other than that, we haven't really been talking about the draft too crazy, other than when it's supposed to happen, which is April 15th, and just things like that. But I'm nervous. I'm super anxious to see where I go.
Didi, going back to that the UConn game the other night, I mean, obviously you get injured, things start to slide, and then obviously the ending was quite controversial. Although I think anybody watching knows what occurred there. Can you just take us through, the injury, what was kind of going through your head, and then, having to watch the way that game ended? What were your thoughts, and how did the team, how do you feel like the team reacted and I guess took that bitter loss?
I definitely, when I had the ball, I just want to let you guys know I was about to make that shot. Like, we were about to go on the run. I was about to shoot that. And so, when I had got hurt, it just, that's why I didn't really want to stay on the ground too long, because it was something that I felt would be minor, which it is minor, but in the moment, it caused so much pain to where clearly it forced me to sit out the whole game. But it was crazy to see it all unfold. Really a heartbreaker, I think, for the entire team. And I don't know, it's just the call at the end was just the icing on the cake of everything that we had been through that game. So I think it was, I don't know, I think it was something I expected after playing in the game and watching the game, because I didn't feel like we got the right calls the entire game. So unfortunately, that added on to the calls that we had already been getting.
What is more of emotion? Winning the national title when you beat Notre Dame in that dramatic game, or the way the game a week ago ended?
I think I think it's a game a week ago, because it was my senior year and that was my last game. My sophomore year, it was so exciting to win that game, and it was such a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster for everybody. But at the end of the day, it was at the hands of a player, whenever they lost or won. It was at the hands of Enrique when she missed the free throw, which is crazy. But this game was at the hands of, we couldn't control it. It was a ref that decided to just keep their whistle in their mouth and just watch her get fouled. So I think that hurt a little more, being that it should have been a foul, knowing that Nate would have made the free throws, knowing that it should have went completely different than what it did.
So you have no doubt she would have made those free throws?
Heck yes, he made the last four.
Yeah. No, I know. I just wanted to hear you say it.
We had Dejanay on, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and I noticed one of your lasting impacts with the Baylor team is I don't think anybody's going to call Coach Mulkey anymore. I believe she's from now on, because of you, just Mulkey.
She's Mulkey. That's Mulk.
So everyone does, like, it used to be, early on it was just you that called her that. But now it's everybody?
Right. I mean, I don't know. I'm just hoping to leave my mark here at Baylor. I'm making every little mark. I'm going to take all the credit for everything.
Well, you definitely left your mark. I mean, as Smokey said at the beginning of the interview, you're one of the all-time, I think, favorite Baylor athletes there has ever been. And obviously the Lady Bears are going to be, good again next year. What can you tell us just about your teammates, the players that, will be coming back? What are your thoughts on, leaving this Lady Bears program in good hands?
I'm clearly excited to watch Liz grow. I mean, that's crazy, all the things she accomplished this year. It's just the beginning, and I really believe that. And I hate that I can't be around to see that, but I'm so excited to watch it all unfold. As well as Queen Egbo, she really became into her own self, a great center, great defender in 1 year, really, starting in the center position. So between them two, I'm so excited, as well as Sarah. Sarah's going to be great. Sarah, she reminds me of Odyssey in so many ways that I can't wait to see her kind of turn to herself. Right now, I think she kind of played a little hesitant, which is normal for a freshman. So I'm just excited to see her grow.
Didi, when Craig brought this up, and I said it at the beginning about you being one of the all-time favorites, and again, that's just like when somebody says, which of your two kids do you like the most? You can't answer that because there have been others, but you really are someone that charmed the fans, but you did it in such an unbelievable way. What did your relationship with Baylor fans mean to you? We know what it meant to them, but what did it mean to you?
Oh, it's crazy, because when you're making a decision to go to a college, that's the one thing you think about is, I hope the fans love me, or I hope the fans show love, and I hope the fans enjoy coming to the game. All you think about is filling up the stands when you leave high school. And the fact that I was, someone that they look forward to seeing, on any bad day, I knew that when I had a game, I could count on the fans to kind of pick me up. So I'm just beyond grateful for all of Baylor Nation for showing us as well as they did for the 4 years that I was here.
Didi Richards with us. She's decided to enter the WNBA draft. You know that you had to sacrifice a little bit to become the point guard this year, and you didn't know, you said this, you didn't know whether or not that would help your, standing with when it comes to the WNBA. And I know you are kind of taking that day by day. Do you feel like it helped you at all? Or do you feel like it didn't?
I feel like it helped me for sure. Not only being 6'2", but it allowed me to showcase that, I'm a great asset on the offensive end, not scoring as well as I wanted to this year due to me moving to the point guard, but it showed that I'm also capable of passing, and that I could still play the best defense I could on anybody. So it kind of was just for someone else to see it. Because, we knew it. Us at Baylor, we kind of knew what was going on, but it was just for the league to see it. I'm happy Coach Mulkey did it.
Yeah, she had to. And you broke records, or you moved up the charts. Last thing. You experienced some exhilarating moments in your 4 years at Baylor, and there were also gut-wrenching moments. In the end, what was it like, your 4 years at Baylor, and what you experienced as a human being?
Oh, it was amazing. I'd be lying if I said it was all amazing, but it was definitely an emotional roller coaster, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm so grateful for Tim and the staff for taking me in, as I felt like I was like a child. I had great teammates along the way, and I enjoyed it. Really was probably one of the hardest decisions to decide to leave Baylor. I mean, I really loved it there, and I'm not even really a risk taker, but something in me is telling me to, go for the gold, go for it all. So it hurts to leave such a loving staff, such great teammates, and great fans on top of that. I don't know. Everyone's kind of like, why is she leaving? But I don't know. I just feel like it's time to start a new chapter in my life, and I'm just excited to do it.
it's your life, it's your career, not ours, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. It's yours. You do what you need to do, and we wish you the absolute best from this point forward. And also, it's been a joy to watch you play and also get to know you the last 4 years. Thank you, Didi, so much. Good luck to you. Let's stay in touch.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. It's so much fun all these 4 years. I'm just excited that I got to meet you guys and always be on the show. It's one of my favorites.
Thanks you so
Didi.
much. Didi Richards. She's an All-American, Defensive Player of the Year last year. Played the point this year, had the puffs, Paul and Craig, and she's. I think she goes down as among the top 2 or 3, and could be one in some people's eyes, favorite player and person at Baylor over the years.
She's just immensely likable. You know, her family is like. We had her mom on the show, which even under the circumstances we had her mom on the show after her injury, I still have gone back and just laughed at that interview, just thinking about how much her mom dotes on her kids, and it was so great. So gonna miss seeing Didi around, but look, she's got a big future in a lot of things that she decides to do. I mean, whatever it is, she's. I know she wants to be in modeling, and the WNBA will certainly help. Raise her profile for that, and all those things she wants to do. Fashion, she's going to be great at whatever she does.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see her on ESPN eventually, or on TV in some capacity. I mean, I think she's got certainly an avenue in entertainment or surrounding avenues that coincide with entertainment that she could certainly be special at. But she could go be a firefighter and probably be special at that too. I mean, she's just a one of a kind. And hard to imagine that 4 years have already gone by, but that's just that's life. And so, no more Didi Richards as far as being an active Lady Bear, but I'm sure she'll still be around and still be a huge supporter of the program. And who knows, she might go off and be a superstar in some arena. And then we're, talking about how this big star Didi Richards used to be, a Baylor women's basketball player. I don't know, but if you were to tell me she goes off and becomes like whatever kind of star, millionaire, whatever, I would believe you, because I just think she's got those special attributes.
Yep, she does. Her personality, her talents, and all her skills as well. When we come back, Tristan Clark was a part of this Baylor team, and his injury kind of changed the direction of how Baylor played the game, and also his life as well, as he had to give up basketball. But there might be a silver lining that perhaps his basketball career may not be over. Tristan Clark, we've had Devontae Bandu and Freddie Gillespie from last year's team. Tristan Clark was on the concourse taking pictures of them during halftime of the University of Houston game. He's next on SicEm365 Radio.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine, a hidden gem in Waco, Lakeshore Drive at North 19th Street. Look, if you want the best selection of craft beer in town, that's where you got to go. They've got a great walk-in fridge full of it. They rotate them out through the spring. Steve Chapman sends me a list of when they rotate them out. And it's just, this was a partial list that took up one whole photo of what they do. So rotating them out all the time seasonally, or what comes in new. And that's not just the case for craft beer. That's the case for any kind of new spirits that come in, any kind of new wines. They always have new things. And they have the classics and the new stuff. A great blend of products there, and a great knowledgeable staff. A drive-through window that is as fast and efficient as anything you'll ever see in your life in the drive-through world. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, Lakeshore Drive at North 19th Street in Waco. Find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Nitsche Group Insurance Agency. With the Nitsche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Nitsche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Nitsche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jeweler, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let
let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio app is sponsored by Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
5 o'clock hour rolls on. Jason King, SicEm365.com will join us. He's here in Indianapolis to cover the game. I'll wrap it up from here at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Then Paul, J.D., and Armstrong will be here for the post-game show tonight after the game. As soon as it ends, boom, we'll have our coverage, Baylor, Gonzaga, on SicEm365 Radio and the app and across all of the media outlets. And we're now joined by former Baylor, and really, I hate to even say former Baylor men's basketball player, Tristan Clark, who was at the game Saturday, Devontae Bandu, Freddie Gillespie, among others. Tristan joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Tristan, thanks for your time. When you watched the dismantlement of the University of Houston, your thoughts about what you saw your players and friends do in that game Saturday?
Thank you for having me, first of all. But I just saw pure dominance. I saw, just Baylor, just who they are. That's how we play. I wasn't really too surprised. I thought Houston would have came a little stronger, but I just feel like, we have too many dogs on our team, and we're on a mission right now, and I already knew what was at stake. So I wasn't surprised at the performance that they had last game.
At what part in your journey at Baylor did you really think that this team and you guys could be in this position?
I'd say when we took our trip to Italy last year, I believe, because when we went out there, we really gelled as a team. I believe we really got to get to know each other on a personal level more rather than just at practice or at school or whatever. And we really got to bond as a team. And I just felt like the way we were playing out there and the way we were interacting with each other, I feel like we definitely could be a championship level team and make history at Baylor for sure.
Saw pictures of you and Freddie and Devontae at the game on Saturdays. How much fun was it to be around those guys, and especially all draped out in Baylor gear? I mean, just what was that atmosphere like?
It's amazing. I love those guys. I went to war with them, and we had a lot of adversity. We've been through a lot together, and it was like a family reunion. And it was just amazing to be around those guys again, and to support those guys on the court. It was like a family reunion. It was just really, really, really fun to be around. And it's always love being around those guys.
You know what I noticed when I bumped into that group that you were taking pictures, Freddie, Devontae, you were taking pictures with fans? I saw huge smiles on everybody's faces, but I saw also the huge smiles on the fans' faces, and they're interacting with you guys. How much did that mean that they all wanted to say hi and take pictures and give you a big hug?
It's awesome. We love Baylor fans. We love to, make them smile and make them feel. We're all family. Fans, players. The fans are just as important as the players, and we want to be here without their support and their contribution to coming to the games and helping us get to the next level. But it's awesome just to interact with all those fans and all the kids that come out, and that's all part of it. That's what players. That's what we live for, and we're here to inspire and lead, and I feel like it's an amazing feeling to do.
What's this last year been like since you decided to move on from basketball and start on the path with, I know, sports psychology you wanted to pursue? How's that been going?
It's actually okay. But I haven't put anything out yet, but I've actually been working out the last couple of months. And I'm actually in a better spot physically and mentally. And I'm actually going to keep pursuing to play basketball. But I also have my degree in my back pocket as well, and that's sports psychology and those connections as well. But I think the time off that I took really benefited me mentally for sure, but physically I'm in a way better spot. And I know with COVID I have an extra year of eligibility, so I'm definitely going to take advantage of that and see what I can do with it.
So playing hoops again, Tristan. I mean, what's that process been like for you?
It's been a hard process. I was trying so hard to come back before the season, but mentally, we're going with COVID and the lockdown and all of that. It was a lot for me. I wasn't able to go to the gym as much. I wasn't able to do a lot of stuff that I was usually able to do back home, and so I wasn't really ready to get back on the court before the season. So I just decided not to play. And, but I just took the time off, and I just kept going. And I feel like finally I got my knee to a point where I'm able to work out consistently for weeks and months. And I feel very confident that I can get back to where I was. So that's what I'm going to do most likely after the season.
Well, then there's one of those opportunities, because there's a thought that your career was over, and that you even thought it was over as well. Have you been in touch with other teams? Is that something that you have done already, or are you still kind of waiting to see what is around the corner?
I'm waiting for after we win this national championship, then I'm most likely going to put it out there in the media and say that I'm going to put my name up or put my name out there and stuff. So I'm just waiting for after the season, and I just want to enjoy these guys and enjoy them playing, and just be a fan right now. I'm not really put too much on it right now. I'm just taking my time with it, but that's the plan right now.
Do you feel like playing again? Is this something that's like an empty hole that you have to go try that again?
Yeah, we're sitting out. I just always had the urge to just keep going and keep working out. I've been through a lot the last couple of years, but I just mentally needed to take a break. You know, I tried so hard last year to come back, but it was just ups and downs all year for me. And, you know, I could play one day, couldn't play the next day. But I finally took time off and just got my knee right to a point where it's not swelling anymore, it's not hurting anymore. And I'm confident now as a basketball player. So I feel like I can keep going and hopefully get back to what I was doing before I got hurt.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome that the things are getting better and you're going to give it a go. Really, really cool to hear you talk about that. And, you know, obviously you played for Scott Drew. There's a lot of talk, you know, at different times of Scott Drew's career about him or whether he could get Baylor to this point, and here they are. I mean, I know there's one game to go, Tristan, but just how happy are you, proud as well of Scott Drew and obviously the rest of that coaching staff?
I love the coaching staff. I've been committed to Baylor since I was about 16, so I know it's always been family. It's always been a family environment with them, and I've known them for a good chunk of my development years. So those guys definitely had a big impact on me as a person and a player. And I'm just very excited for Coach Drew because I know he's been through a lot, you know, since he came to Baylor and all the adversity he's been through. And it's just so, and y'all know the word, but I'm just very proud of him and the coaching staff. And, you know, those guys are great guys and they deserve it all.
Tristan, thank you. Good luck. That's great news on you. Trying to get back in the game, looking at the options you have. And also, here you are. It's the ultimate teammate thing. You stepped aside because you just didn't feel like you could play. Obviously, that opened up a scholarship. What was it, Mark Patterson?
Yeah, and then he goes and hits the shot at the end of the game, and that's technically your scholarship, Tristan. So that was pretty cool to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, Mark, he definitely deserves it as well. But I'm glad he got that experience. I'm glad he got to fulfill that, you know what I mean? And it's all love. It's all family. So I'm proud of him. And, you know, it's all good for him.
That was a heck of a shot, too.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Yeah.
Also, Tristan, it's the ultimate sacrifice as well. I know we're going to put it out that you mentioned you want to play again, but wanted to wait until after the national championship or any other announcement. Craig, go ahead.
Yeah, Tristan, did you see the video of him getting that scholarship by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did that mean to you when they mentioned that they wish that you were still there with them? I mean, do you hear that a lot, or was it nice to hear that those guys wish that you were, you know, you're still part of it the way that you were, I suppose?
Yeah, it's all love. Yeah, I mean, I want to be out there with those guys so badly. I mean, no ball player wants to just sit out. You know what I mean? But I had to look out for myself and look out for my emotional stability and mental stability. And I didn't want my problems to transfer to them or, you know, affect them. So I just wanted to, you know, make sure I was good and put myself away and let those guys just focus on ball. And but I mean, those guys, I love those guys to death. We've been through a lot, especially how we started out. Like, I remember my sophomore year before I got hurt. Like, we were like one of the youngest teams in the country. And our first game, we lost to Texas Southern, and it was just like, you know, it looked like we were going downhill. But now, you know, we just persevered through all of that, and now we're here in Indianapolis playing for a national championship. So it's really amazing to see, you know, I'm really proud of those guys, and, you know, I feel like we can do it.
Yeah, and Scott Drew's got plenty of coaching tree out there that I'm sure will be in touch, and you have been in touch with some of them as far as your next step. And we wish you the best of luck. Thank you, Tristan, so much. It was great to see you. Be careful on that little motor scooter, though, man. That thing, I don't have the balance to stay on that very long.
Well, there's not a lot to do in Indianapolis, so that's just what I'm doing right now. So it's very fun, though. But yeah, I got you, though.
Yeah, be careful. Thank you, Tristan. I hope to see you soon. Tristan Clark with us, former Baylor center, who went out back a couple of years ago and again announced earlier, and that was a part of a media session. It was very emotional, and I got a feeling he's going to end up playing at probably some program where there's what you would think a former Scott Drew coach assistant coach or someone
Oral
in
Roberts,
the pipeline.
North Texas, Lamar now with
How about
not
Grand
Lamar,
Canyon?
excuse me, that's Alvin Brooks' father. And I got that
Yeah.
wrong, but I mean, there's a connection there. That would actually make a lot of sense as well, even if it's not directly a Baylor coach. But yeah, there's plenty of spots that could be potential landing spots for him. I'm just glad to know that he's seems to be in a good headspace and is getting healthy, and that's good. And I can't imagine, how tough that must be. And even though he's handling it really well, but still, he made a very selfless decision that was also, it was selfless and selfish at the same time, but in a good way. And yeah, I mean, in a roundabout way, him doing what he did kind of led sort of, into some of what we're seeing now. Him stepping aside and yet, hopefully there's a big opportunity for him. And I know that, he's part of the former players that Scott Drew shouts out that have been all a part of this, no matter what. So, yeah, big day for Baylor basketball players, past and present.
I will put this, you mentioned those schools, Paul Mills and others, but also don't forget Bryce Drew at Grand Canyon is also a possible landing spot for Tristan Clark. Okay, when we come back, Jason King is in Indianapolis. He's been covering the games here the last week. He will join us and maybe get into matchups and not so much as the X's and O's, but just this game itself as we're on the verge, 2.5 hours or so away from tip-off, a little bit more than that away from tip-off for the national title with Baylor and Gonzaga. And this is SicEm365 Radio.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. He cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
What you do in privacy is your own business. What you do in public with your truck, well, that's our business at Pickup Outfitters. In your garage, it's okay for your truck to parade around in the nude with no accessories. Hey, this is still America. But when you bring your truck out in public, it's just common decency to put an outfit on your truck. And that's where we come in at Pickup Outfitters. Put a cover on that bed. Cover your rear end with a bumper and a hitch, for goodness sakes. There are women and children on the roads. And guys, don't leave your tools exposed. Put them in a toolbox. Be proud of your truck and stand tall with a lift kit. Or improve your truck's posture with a leveling kit. Add some class to your pickup with new wheels and tires. Or dress up for a date with your new RV or boat with a fifth wheel or a receiver hitch. At Pickup Outfitters, we're dedicating to making the roads decent for all Central Texans. So when taking your truck out in public, remember your manners and accessorize it properly with an outfit from Pickup Outfitters. 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Engel with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with Jason King of SicEm365.
Well, listen, you want to like, and we might have one more guest between now and a little bit after 6. Post-game show, Paul Catalina and J.D. Pickell, they'll be on. Armstrong will be in the studio. Jason King, Ashley Hodge, Drake is here. I'm here in Indianapolis. Drake is here as a student at Baylor, a sophomore, and everyone, all of what's going on. We're now joined by Jason King. He's here as well. And Jason, here we are. The culmination of one hell of a basketball season. Could it actually end any other way than these two playing for the championship?
I mean, what a treat, seriously. I mean, how many times the best two teams in the country actually end up playing, on the final night of the season? And I hope that people across the country watch this game. And a lot of people think, the TV ratings might be down because the alumni bases of these two schools aren't big. But I mean, I think the word is out. And this is a special night for not just college basketball, but just sports in general. It's a night that, everyone needs after a crazy year. And it's going to be tough for this game to live up to the billing, but hopefully it will.
Jason, what do you think is the biggest matchup issue that Baylor will have tonight?
Well, obviously, I think just stopping Drew Timme. I mean, he's kind of had his way with everyone in this tournament so far, and pretty much the whole season. He's averaged 19 points a game, but in the last 4 games in the tournament, he's averaged 25 points. And he's 40 of 60 from the field during that span, and he's just really having a heck of a tournament. I mean, Suggs is the big name right now after that shot he hit, but the best player by far has been Timme. And then when you factor in the fact that Baylor's front court, it's probably one of the weaker parts of its team. Just because of, lack of depth and experience and things like that. I mean, that's the area that scares me the most. And hopefully they can just, do things to make him uncomfortable, get a little physical with him and knock him off course a little bit. But I think he'll get his points, and hopefully Baylor can stop those other guys from getting theirs.
So, Jason, the other night watching that Gonzaga game, as it appeared that Gonzaga might, in fact, get knocked off, I had family members around going like, wait, do we want Gonzaga to win so we get this game, or do we want UCLA to win? Right. Like, what was kind of going through your head with that whole sequence of events?
Well, one of the first things I was thinking was if UCLA wins this game, I don't know if that makes things much easier on Baylor, because I thought they were really, really good. And I was just like, man, this team's every bit as good as Gonzaga. At least they are at this moment. So I was kind of worried for Baylor no matter what. But I did want Gonzaga to win, to tell you the truth, and I kind of did a little mini fist pump when they won, because that's what everyone's been wanting to see all year, and not just us, but the country. And to tell you the truth, I think that's what Baylor wants. And that's what I love about this Baylor team, and it's swag, I guess that you could say. I mean, they are excited to play Gonzaga. They want to play Gonzaga. They're not intimidated or scared or anything. I mean, I think they relish the challenge to do this. I don't think they were sitting there hoping that Gonzaga got knocked off by, USC or something. I mean, they want to play the best, because if they do win this game, to win the championship and then to do it against a team that was undefeated, a team that was ranked number 1 all year, I mean,
man, that's just like that's the epitome. So I think that they're excited about it.
We're talking to Jason King. He's with SicEm365.com, the field of 68.com. And I was sitting there after the game Saturday. I had pretty much done everything I could do, and I started watching Jason over in the corner, grinding away at the story. So there'll be a game story from Jason as well tonight. And then Ashley will break it down and all the stuff we do as well. Jason, in the end, what does this mean? In the end, if Baylor wins this national championship, other than just, my God, they won a national championship.
Excuse me. I think it's huge, David, because this goes pretty deep, man. It's like, just think about from a national perspective, all the, I got it as a Baylor grad for 20 years, to more than that, all the jokes about whether it be a scandal or early on when Baylor was first in the Big 12, all the losing, and Baylor doesn't belong in the Big 12. And I just felt like for years and years and years, there was just so much outside angst and negativity toward Baylor. And now, they had their football success and women's basketball and things of that sort. But with this basketball team, I mean, I think people are falling in love with this basketball team. They're everything that's good about Baylor, from a character standpoint, from the way they carry themselves, to parade this team out on national television in front of America. And over the last couple of weeks, and for them to get to see these interviews and the joy on their bench, I think it's a great look for Baylor, and it's something that Baylor's needed for years and years, and they're getting it. And win or lose, I think that's what's coming out of this for the school. And it's a credit to Drew and his staff for the culture they've built and recruiting the right guys. And man, it's been great to cover. It's kind of sad in a way, because in a lot of ways, with Butler and Teague and Mitchell and Vital probably gone after this year. So, it's been a special thing we've gotten to witness here, and hopefully tonight will be the cherry on top of it all.
Jason, it boggles my mind all the time how carefree the team is, because basketball is a sport where, even though it's a team game, it very much thrives on individual performances within that team structure. And just think about the other night, they're blowing out Houston, and Maceo Teague in the first half was not really even a factor. And there were times where Baylor teams, if one of their best scorers wasn't a factor, they wouldn't have been blowing out anybody, even though they had good teams. But this team didn't seem to mind. Maceo doesn't care. He knows the ball's going to bounce his way eventually. That's really hard to accomplish, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to create that mindset in people. And, and look at Maceo, though. He had 6 assists the other night. I mean, he found other ways to make an impact. That was a career high for him. But I tweeted this out about an hour ago, and it's this picture of Mark Vital after the game, and it's on my Twitter. It's a picture of him with this just massive smile on his face, and you could feel the energy coming through your screen on your cell phone, how happy he is. And it was after Patterson hit that shot at the end of the game. He's going over to give him a hug, and I'm thinking, Mark Vital had the worst game of the season. He had 2 points, 1 rebound, and a limited amount of minutes because of foul trouble. I know he was really frustrated, but at the end of the day, man, he's all about winning, and he's all about this team and the moment and the accomplishment. He sees the bigger picture, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of players that would have been sulking after a game like he had just had, and actually a tournament that he's just had, because it hadn't been great for him because of foul trouble. But again, to me, that picture kind of encapsulated everything that's great about this Baylor team, because they say culture of joy, and you can just feel it, when you look at that picture. And I thought that was really cool.
And what a cool sequence that was. I mean, not only does he get that hard-fought board, but then, makes a tough shot, and just incredible to watch.
Does any walk-on capitalize on their 40 seconds of fame more than this guy? I mean, he's blocking shots. I mean, what's he shooting on the year? Like 6 or 7 or something? I don't know. I mean, I love that guy, man. At halftime, I was thinking maybe this is the time that Ashton or whatever gets his first basket of the year. But once that ball goes to Patterson, man, he ain't giving it back. I don't blame him. He's efficient. I'd like to see him back next year. I know he's thinking about it.
Well, yeah, he learned from Matthew Meyer, right? I mean, they're like buddies. So he gets the ball. I mean, we know how much.
My last thing on him, what's crazy about him is you would think, wow, he's pretty good. I bet at St. Edwards he was a stud. I think he averaged 1 point at St. Edwards. Wow. I looked it up. He wasn't even a big time player there. I was like, okay. So maybe he got really, really good over his year or two off.
Well, playing against those guys every day in practice. All right, so there were things that you were worried about entering the tournament, and a lot of those things have been fixed. Not completely, but the defense, the rotation, the energy. But the bench, my goodness, with Matthew Meyer, and Adam Flagler, and now we have the resurgence of Jonathan Chamachachua. How impressive and critical will that be tonight against Gonzaga?
Well, that was good because, like you said, that was along with the defense and the energy. I think the bench was another one of the main concerns during the tournament. They hadn't done much at all in the Big 12 tournament, or also in the few games before that. But they had a combined 32 points, 2 nights ago, and then they had 25 against Arkansas. So yeah, I mean, I think that's where Baylor really separates itself, is not being good 1 through 5, being good 1 through 8, and I think most teams drop off after about number 6. So I think the bench is when it's playing well, is what really takes them to the next level, because you just don't lose much when you put those guys in, and then you take them out. Oh, who are you putting in now? Oh, Jared Butler's coming back in. So it's just, there's really no. It's not a breathing room situation for the opponent when Baylor goes to its bench. It kind of just stays the same.
Jason, what's the restaurant rotation been like for you? Do you have a pitching rotation you were going with?
I did. I basically found 3 places: the Spazbo's Pizza and good pizza by the Slice place. I'm here right now for the 3rd time. Right across the street is the Eagle. They got a fried chicken BLT. It's one of the better sandwiches I've ever had. And then I found a good steakhouse called Tony's. I mean, I was eating crab cakes and shrimp cocktail and nice steaks. And then, Smoak and I and Ashley Hodge went over to Shapiro's Deli and I got a big old corned beef sandwich. Smoak had some turkey and some soup. So, man, I tell you, I was doing a Zoom the other day, and I was distracted because I kept looking at myself, and I'm thinking, damn, I look bad. You know what I mean? I just feel like I've put on 10 pounds in the last 8 days. So I gotta get home and get back on my treadmill. I've actually been working out here, but I've been eating more than I've been working out, so I gotta fix that.
Jason, thank you so much, buddy. I'll see you in a little bit. Yep. Thanks for your time. Appreciate all the coverage. Jason King will have a post-story wrap summary, kind of break it all down, along with so much more. Post-game, the post-game show with Paul, J.D. and Armstrong, among others. We'll check in with Ashley Hodge. I hope, it depended on where I will be following the game as far as access available among some, maybe even players and coaches, if it turns out the way Baylor fans want it. Craig, a note about Baylor. I got a lot of other little kind of things to tie a knot here.
Yeah, there's an account on Twitter called Baylor Sports Past. It's actually at SicEm Sports Past. I have no idea who runs it. I've just noticed it from time to time. They do like a on this day in history kind of a deal. And it's not always posted early enough in the day to where I can mention it, but today it was. And I just want to give the SicEm Sports Past account a shout out, because on this day, many years ago, back in 2005, Sophia Young has 18 second-half points and 26 overall as Baylor routs Michigan State for its first NCAA basketball title, 84-62. That happened on this day in 2005. So they won their first NCAA basketball title as a school on April the 5th. Maybe they win their first men's title on April the 5th as well. So just a little minor thing, but if you believe in those sort of coincidences, then there's one for you.
All right. In fact, that was the first of 3, and the most recent was 2 years ago when they beat Notre Dame down in Tampa. Now, we got a lot of different direct messages and texts that we'll try to read here. 254-339-1122. We hope you've enjoyed as we've danced around from former players and coaches. Here is Scott Drew. This was back in 2003. This is only about 1 minute and 30 seconds, but I had never seen this before, and Baylor Athletics let this out yesterday. Listen to what Scott Drew was saying. No one just said a word. It was quiet as it could be. We know what Baylor had been dealing with or dealt with, and the vision of Scott Drew 18 years ago.
My goal at Valpo University was to be the first mid-major school to go to the Final Four in recent years. At Baylor University, I did not come to go to the NCAA tournament. We came to win games at the NCAA tournament. We came with the chance to win a national championship at Baylor University. We have the resources. We have the people. We have the leadership. And I think we have the family atmosphere to do it down here. And that's my goal in the next few years, to bring Baylor to that forefront. Now, America does love the little guys. And this is definitely a David versus Goliath situation. And it might take some time. But I can tell you this, our staff will have the work ethic, the integrity, and the commitment to success needed to get this program where it needs to go. And the players I met with today stayed because they wanted you to cheer for them. And together, we're going to build something here. And I can't wait for the ride. Thank you very much.
How many times do you see something like that? I mean, that's every press conference, right?
Yeah.
Every coach's press conference. And you say, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man. When they posted that yesterday, I just, I watched it. I don't know if I've ever seen it before, because obviously I wouldn't have seen it at the time. And those were my thoughts of that's every press conference pretty much, and every down and out program. That's what the new coach says, is we're going to work harder than everybody, and we're going to do it with class and integrity.
And we can play for a national championship here. That's what they say.
For a national title. He said all the talking points, but he did it. Like, he's done it. He's lived up to every word. I mean, I'm not much for statues these days, but like, if anybody was a candidate for one, it's Scott Drew. It's unbelievable, man. It really is. Like, there's no one in their right mind that the day he was introduced, other than Scott Drew, that thought that they were going to be in a position like they're in tonight. And you fast forward all these years later, and Baylor men's basketball is playing for a national championship tonight. It's just unbelievable. It's incredible, and nobody, Mark Few, I mean, that guy deserves a national title, but so does Scott Drew. Yep. So, somebody very deserving is going to win tonight, because these are two incredible teams and two incredible coaching staffs.
And real quick, Smokey, and this was brought up during the press conference yesterday. Everybody knows that these coaching, John Jacobs is on both staffs and all that, but outside of just that, these coaching staffs are tight. Yeah, they're all friends. Drew's going to go up after the season and going to go hang out at Mark Few's lake house and go fishing
with his dad.
So,
they are incredibly close. You're exactly right, and they both seem to be two people. I know a lot of people have had to kind of get to know Scott Drew along the way, but man, now that he's had this kind of spotlight and the exposure and on the stage, there are a lot of people that know a lot more about him than perhaps they thought or what they had been told. Let me go over some of the text messages, because we've had some of those from Scotty B. The game feels like the song, the final countdown. No matter what happens, Baylor has had the best season in school history. Also from Matt in D.C., win by one. That's it. Yeah. Raymond from Waco. Hey, guys, this is Cinderella game or not, because Baylor has never played in the national championship game. And if so, how come no one is talking about it? Well, they have. They played back in 1948 and lost to Kentucky. That's Raymond from Waco.
I saw that text, and I was wondering if that was the Raymond. Yeah, it's pretty much confirmed. That's the Raymond.
Hey, welcome aboard, the Raymond. It's been a long time, brother.
Wow. Yeah, it's great to have you on, man. Daniel, he's talking about Coach Morris. You mentioned the fact that he was in College Station. A lot of A&M fans were telling him they were wishing him the best. From Brandon, I think most armchair quarterbacks like myself forget coaching is a job. We all make mistakes and wish we could do X, Y, Z. And again, he was talking about when he was a little bit wobbly after they had some of those upset losses in the tournament. They've had as many upset wins as they ever had upset losses. Remember, there were times they beat people they weren't supposed to beat.
Well, to Scott Drew's credit, I wanted to say real quickly, everybody talks about some of the criticism or whatever he faced early on. That's not to say that some of it wasn't deserving. That's not to say that some of it didn't need to be tweaked. And so I think that's even more so. To his credit, he had the long-term vision and the plan that he really meant when he said it. And then also the realization and the confidence in himself to go, yeah, you know what? We do kind of need to tweak some of these things. Like the point guard situation when they were going JUCO, and then you get Jared Butler in there, and what a world of difference that makes. But yeah, I mean, there needs to be a class written on how to take, something just so low and down and in the dumps and take it to the point where what we're about to watch here in a couple hours.
Think about how many coaches resisted transfers.
Yeah.
And Scott was like, you know what? If there's going to be transfers and we can help our program, then I'm going to use it.
That's why they're here.
I'm going to use it. And then, he's absolutely mastered the transfer portal, and he's built his program to a point now where they don't, and not that he ever had to, but there were a couple guys that didn't fit. Mm-hmm. LJ Rose didn't fit. And, guys like that didn't fit. But for the most part, like Al Freeman fit for a while, and then he didn't fit at the end. And he wound up making a good decision for himself and played really well at NC State, close to home in his last season of eligibility. But for the most part, they don't have to, especially now with playing in the national championship game. He'll never have to recruit a player. Like, he'll never walk in and go, this guy isn't going to fit. I'm not going to try to squeeze a square peg in a round hole. He's just going to be able to do it. He'll just be able to do it.
For those who have asked again about Tristan Clark in the comment, he's going to make an announcement. He'll let him do that sometime in the next 24 hours. But the option about playing another year, it won't be with Baylor. It's going to be with another program for those of you who have asked me that, just to kind of clarify. Thanks to a lot of people. Brian Bauer had to read this one. Brian said, my father would have sold his house to get to that game. I know he will be there. And Brian also said, I hope I get a chance to light up these My Father cigars tonight. We know how Brian's father was such an amazing man when it came to his love of Baylor.
How about an Angels in the outfield situation with Mr. Bauer, I'm thinking?
Swat the game.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, dude, it takes to get a win tonight. It would be incredible for people like that and so many other people I've met over the years here in Waco, and really know just how important this is for a lot of people and how proud a lot of people are. I mean, regardless of the outcome tonight, I know a lot of people are just proud of what this basketball team has done. I mean, we've never talked basketball to April the 5th. Yeah. Unless it's about other programs, and tonight we're previewing Kansas, UConn or something like that. Yep. But no, we're talking about Baylor in the national freaking championship game. So I'm just ready to see it at this point.
Yeah, Dustin, by the way, he was talking about that, Dustin Zanders. This would be the first major championship in the state of Texas since UT and Vince Young won the Big 12 and the national title in 2005. And to think it's scrubby little Baylor, as Jim Rome once called us. And from Scott Spain Smith, I spent the summer of 2003 in Kenya watching Nairobi local news and seeing Sloan being dubbed into Swahili as the basketball scandal began to unfold. 18 years later, Scott Drew has led us to the championship game from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs. So that's that with everything. Didn't get to everybody, but I got to as many of you as we possibly could.
Yeah, not to put any more pressure on this, but this is potentially a university-changing game tonight. I mean, it's one thing to have, the titles in women's basketball or A&T or whatever, but to have your first – of the big two, I like to say, of either football or men's basketball, the big money sports, that's a game changer. And I think they've already changed the game in some ways, just the outlook of the program, the thoughts on the school and all of that in many ways this season with what they've done. But, like, on paper, you suddenly call yourselves basketball national champions. That's another level right there.
And look, it's good. This is how good things are going at Baylor. Every couple of years, we get to have the debate over, is this the biggest moment in Baylor sports history? Which is a great debate to have because it means you're in bigger and bigger moments. But this is definitively the big, and no disrespect to anything that's happened before, but because this is the men's basketball national championship on national television on a Monday night. I mean, after the Final Four and all of that history that comes with it. This is, over football and everything else, this is the biggest moment in Baylor sports history tonight, and I hope that everybody enjoys it.
Nick Morgan, by the way, thank you for nice, as always, the support you give us. From Damon Sales, national writer, I saw something I saw something in about 34 to 36 minutes of the game against Houston that made me say this team, Baylor, wants it badly. I'm not saying the Zags don't want it, but I noticed a different kind of dog in the Bears during that Final Four game. And my point to him was, you're right. I was stunned. I was not stunned Baylor won at all. No. But the way they played angry but yet focused and controlled, and they have to do that tonight again to try to get through Gonzaga and possibly be crowned as a national champion. Thanks to so many of you that have responded. Here's from Royal SicEm Bears. Not many moments in my life will compare to when I got to go watch Terry Teagle play against Drexler in 1980. But I'm a basketball fan for life. So, all right, that's going to pretty much wrap it up. There was a couple other people we were seeing if we could extend the show a little bit, but we have a long night ahead of us. I'll fly back hopefully tomorrow. And by the way, to close everything out, post-game tonight, as soon as the game is over, as soon as we can possibly get it on, tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of our first show we ever did on April the 6th of last year. It just snuck up on me.
So, you know what a great anniversary present would be from Scott Drew, who was one of our first guests? Yep. Give us something fun to talk about, Scott. That's all I'm saying. It's the paper anniversary.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And honestly, I have to admit this. I have not even thought about tomorrow's guest lineup. I haven't. We got to find out what happens tonight, and we'll go with it.
It could alter drastically depending on what happens tonight. So, let's see what happens tonight.
If they happen to win tonight, then there'll be some things we get from within the program as well, although they fly back probably about the time that we start the program as well. All right, so much to get to. Good luck if you're a Baylor fan. Jay Bilas, thanks for your time. Seth Greenberg, John Gallagher, Michael Williams, Jeremy Wariner, Evan Miyakawa, Chad Morris, Didi Richards, Tristan Clark, Jason King. Wow. Thanks to Colt Barber for running what he does when no one ever sees what he's doing. Armstrong Sims for your magic. Paul, J.D. tonight with the post-game show. Craig, thank you. Great to see everybody again. I'll be back in studio, God willing, tomorrow. I'm David Smoak. For everyone that is a part of this show, for the sponsors that brought us this NCAA coverage and every day of SicEm365 Radio, good luck, Baylor, tonight, Gonzaga, SicEm365 Radio.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.